Welcome back to another episode of the Brother Pill podcast. This is number 13. Today we have a great story. It's very controversial, and obviously we'll be weighing in from a Black conservative's point of view on the Charlottesville national rally that went bad. But before I do so, I want to acknowledge my host with me. It's number 12 of 13 podcast, Steve the Dean Williams. What's up, Steve?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me. What's going on, chat room? How y'all doing?
All right, everything's good, man. So first of all, I want to just introduce myself. My name is Oshay Duke Jackson. You can find me on this channel at the Oshay Vlogcast. Visit me on my daily blog, www.negromanosphere.com, and also my main YouTube channel, Oshay Duke Jackson. And go ahead, introduce yourself, Steve.
Yes, how you doing, guys? Steve, the Dean Williams. I am a dating and relationship coach. I help men all over the world with women, problems, and manhood.
Okay, cool. Let's get into this topic now. Me and you are Black conservatives. We're Republicans, strictly to the right, and we want to really, before we kind of get into this, is kind of give a little bit of synopsis of what happened. There's a Charlottesville, which is a small college town. There was a statue of a Confederate general, one of the greats in American history, Robert E. Lee, and there's a big statue of him. And people who are on the left and those sympathetic to racism and social justice warrior type of belief system wanted that particular statue down. So what ended up happening, we have white nationalists from across the country that were coming to pretty much make, pretty much like, a protest to that. And once that was organized, you had people who were sympathetic to gay rights. You had people who sympathetic to Black Lives Matter. Show up, and then as a result there was some fighting in between the crowds. Now, to be honest, from what I can tell, it was majority whites who were fighting other whites, and a young man who's 20 years old, what was his name, Steve? I don't know if you know his name, but James Alex Fields Jr. ran a car through a crowd, killing 32-year-old lady Heather Heyer. And we're going to just weigh in on it, not necessarily from the point of view that maybe most people see it, but we're going to talk about the Black community, because there were some Black people out there. There were a few Black people who were injured. Steve, what is your take on this definitely sad situation that's happened over in Charlottesville?
Yeah, it is a tragedy. I just don't think people understand how this stuff works. And when you have two different factions coming together, is like the perfect storm of trouble and bad things that happen. And I don't know if it started off as a quiet protest on the one side with the Klan and all the rednecks and all them motherfuckers. And then all of a sudden, all the other people came. When you get those two groups together, it's a clash. And I don't know. I just feel bad for the people that got ran over. I mean, I just couldn't imagine what I would do, man. You would have to kill my. I would be like a stunt man. I'd jump on that fucking car. I would try. Well, I can't say anything like that. But
yeah. Let's talk about this, because since I know that this country is for the most part mostly white. It's a white dominated country, although that's slowly decreasing. This was pretty much a white versus white thing, to be honest. It wasn't.
Yes.
To be fair, wasn't a lot of Blacks, but you do have a lot of Blacks weighing in on this. And I want to talk about some of the few Blacks that were hurt. Now, obviously, there was a police crash with the helicopter. That's not really what I'm here to talk about. But I do want to talk about Black people who did go to this particular protest to meet or confront these white nationalists who came from all across the country. And And here's what I have to say about a lot of white nationalists, and this is not to be racist. The white nationalists that I do see, I've heard of, tend to be those people who are disenfranchised or feel left out of the American dream. And those people tend to be, at least, I mean, I'm no doubt that I feel that, they may have lawyers and doctors on their side too. But majority of these people seem to be people who are poor, people who are, uneducated, people who don't have a whole lot going for themselves. And as a result, these particular people who are on the, kind of in the forefront of this white national kind of rally kind of guys, these white people are pretty much in the same situation as most. I'm not saying in the same, but they're not too far from black people who have the same grievances because they're poor. They're left out of even white society. So yes. To me, I don't understand why any black person in their right mind would feel that you're fighting white supremacy when you are just dealing with the lower tiers of whites at this rally. That's my opinion. How do you feel about that?
No, I totally agree with you. It's it's a very touchy subject because on one end, I don't have no problem with those type of the ignorant motherfuckers getting fucked up. You know what I mean? I don't, the hatred to me, again, to me, it's all about hatred. And I don't think, one side is mad. I mean, both sides, even though they're fighting their own causes, do have a certain type of hatred towards the other group. And again, one group does. I mean, and both sides have reasons, but I'm not saying the reasons are justified. I'm just saying, Oshay, that it's just, to me, it's two mobs of hatred that have their own thoughts that are coming together, man.
Absolutely. Shout out to my man Taylor Made Dreams. Shout out to him. It's a good brother. I got to get him back on here. Great channel. Check him out. Shout out to my man Ronald K. Armstrong, filmmaker. He just hit me on Skype. I don't know if he would be interested in coming on, but he's a great YouTuber in his own right. Great. And again, King Demetrius, I don't know what kind of money he got, but dude, he be donating like crazy. Shout out to King Demetrius. Man, if you get man, let me get hired, bro. Wherever the hell you doing it, do I gotta be a stripper or something? Nigga? I just need to, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. Reynald Cherry. Listen, this is what I want to get back to. And shout out to everybody coming in. We have 104 people watching. Do me a favor and like the video. Here's what I have to say as a black conservative. What I'm going to say is not going to be very nice. Again, but anything what I have to say never is nice. These white people who are opposed to, and when you say nationalist, in a sense, although I am, I deal with white people on an individual basis, I am every sense of the word a black nationalist. Don't want to hear. I'm going to say it again. I am a black nationalist, which that means if I would rather live in a society and I am looking forward to build a society that is ran by blacks, doing business with other blacks, preferring the protection and the lineage of black people and black skin and black cultures, whether that's in America or in Africa, I'm a black nationalist first. That doesn't necessarily mean that I hate white people. Now, I understand if there are white nationalists who do hate blacks. At the end of the day, nationalism does not imply racism.
Right. True.
We got to understand that. Okay. I really feel, and I got to turn this damn mic on. I got to really feel this. And I'm going to ask your opinion on this. Black people who come through a system of slavery that happened in the South, white people who are part of that history, are not obliged to your black ass to feel sorry for that. And I'm going to say it again. White people do not owe you an explanation, nor do they owe you a pity party for the fact that they were able to conquer certain West Coast places of Africa, induce slavery. When black people sold us over, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you, you know, I don't feel white people owe us an apology, actually.
No.
I really don't think so, because black people played just as big of a role in slavery as they did.
Yes.
So we got to acknowledge that.
Yes.
The fact is, we have a group of niggas consistently out here, instead of worrying about their own fucking communities, instead of worrying about what black people should be focusing on, what we can be doing. You know, we have a brother right here, Ronald K. Armstrong, who's a filmmaker, and we could be bringing up our own Black Hollywoods, and we could be doing our own things. We are so concerned about how people feel about us.
Worried about that, yeah.
Why are we worried about, there goes the white nationalists over there. They don't like black people. They hate niggas. But we're going to go show them. We're going to go talk to them about that. We're going to confront them. As if that's going to change something. Do you know how fucking stupid you look? I'm ranting right now. I'm sorry. Clips of Oregon. Anthony Brown Logan, I got you. Do you know how stupid you fucking look? Obviously. You coming protesting is not going to change their minds.
Not at all.
They don't owe you. White people or white nationalists do not owe you any sympathy. They don't owe you an explanation for why they feel that way. Because I don't owe white people any kind of way. The way I feel about the motherfuckers, I just listen. I tell you straight up. White people, as far as on a general basis, I don't trust them motherfuckers. I deal with them on an individual basis. That's how it is. I don't hate them, but certainly they don't need me to, and nor do they care how I feel. Black people and you fucking social justice warriors. Why are you so concerned about how people feel about you? As if you shut them up, as if it's going to make them feel, because we shut them up, they're going to feel different. They're going to be indifferent.
No.
Isn't it maybe I have it wrong? Steve, can you explain maybe? Am I fucking stupid here? Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know.
No, you're not stupid or dumb. It's that the ego, see, it goes to every individual. The ego plays such a role in everybody's life where people feel like they need validation from other people to be, I don't know, themselves or to be what they are. I don't understand. Again, I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. You know, you're not, everybody's not going to like you. And if you think that stopping what you stop, whatever, if you can stop a Klan rally, I don't know, in West Virginia, that's not going to change the mindset of people. You got to understand, everybody lives by a mindset, and the fact that you worry about what the next man thinks about you shows the lack of strength and power that you have in yourself. And I think that's a problem, Oshay. Individuals like us, you know, I don't give a fuck what you think about me, because, you know, as long as you don't put your hands on me, you can say and think all you want, because you can't affect me. I only affect me. But
again,
I only affect me. You can't affect me. And when you start to think that way, this is the secret in the sauce. You do more damage to the so-called white man when you don't try to fit in, but try to fit out. Get out of that box. Get out of this oppression thinking. You know, slavery happened. Slavery was wrong. I like I say, I sound like a record player. Learn from your history. Appreciate your history. But don't use that as a catapult or an excuse to why you can't do anything today, man.
Let me do this for those people who want to subscribe to King Demetrius, bro. He's been showing so much love as a moderator. Yeah, man. Man, Demetrius, I gotta let me do this. Let me get your page in here, brother. Let me do that. And actually, let me go to his channel real quick. Oh, it's right here. Okay. All right. I'll subscribe to you right now. So guys, go to
Lincoln,
King
I'll
Demetrius.
subscribe to. Yeah, link it in the thing.
I'll bring him on, man. But he only got. I didn't know he did videos. All right, so subscribe to King Demetrius, everybody, man. Right there, it's the channel. Okay, let me see. Is ABL here on here? Anthony Brian Logan.
ABL, no, not yet. He hasn't popped in yet. He's not
okay.
on the thing.
Let me just say this. And somebody says, well, there's that. Why are you ranting on white crime? This is what this guy said, and makes a pretty good point. This guy here. This guy Gone Postal 28.
Okay.
Here's the thing. You had people who, number one, black people who were hurt. And then also what we're dealing with is you have people who are out there sympathetic to black people as far as Black Lives Matter, right? And at the end of the day, if somebody is sympathetic to Black Lives Matter, usually black people are involved in that somehow. White people are just not going to show up to a rally and just rally for Black Lives Matter without black people being there. Does it even make sense? Okay, like think about it. I'm gonna show up to Charlottesville. Hey, look, I'm gonna come out there and hold these Black Lives Matter posters. You niggas better show up, right? Now, just think about it. You go there and you niggas don't show up, and I'm out here white with a Black Lives Matter poster. I'm dropping that motherfucker. I'm going home. Fuck y'all. Stop the show. I mean, if I can't say that word, but I almost did a Steve the Dean. If you niggas show up, I know what you about to say. You know how you niggas are probably come to the goddamn rally late, high, smoking weed and shit, eating chicken. You know how you niggas do. And if I'm a white motherfucker and I'm out there, I'm like, y'all, where the fuck is Pookie and them at? I mean, like, these niggas holler at the white girls and shit, the white racist girls trying to get their number. Hey, nigga, we gotta march. So obviously, niggas was out there because white people ain't gonna just show up. Hey, look, dude. The white people on time with the posters. You niggas ain't out there. Fuck that. Of course, y'all out there. I wish I was marching for white people, and you motherfuckers don't show up. I'm going back home, nigga. Fuck you. And I'm not gonna be out here in the hot ass sun in my goddamn trail mix and fucking Birkenstock sandals on and shit, marching for you with you Negroes, and you ain't there. Of course, you niggas is there. Y'all will do anything. You fucking social justice warrior Negroes. Y'all will do anything to get white folks' approval. Y'all will be out there, all type of shit. You'll be there early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, motherfuckers.
Well, Oshay, it's unfortunate for not all black people, but our black brothers and sisters. I know they're angry, they're confused, they're mad, they're depressed, and sometimes they take on issues that they think are going to make changes. And I ask you this question, and everybody in the chat room can answer it, please. What does marching going to solve other than you walking from one point to the other and then going back home and going back to your daily life? What does marching and protesting do? You can say, and real quick, somebody might say it brings awareness. There's already awareness. People already know. And I'm asking you, Oshay, what does marching or protesting do? What does it change?
Well, I mean, for black people, here's the thing, right? And I gotta talk about this. We're gonna take it more to a personalizable subject. For those now, people, there were some people sympathetic to gay rights that were there. Okay. Here's the thing: when gays protest, it actually means something because gays have something that black people don't have, which is unity. So when gays come, they're not only coming to protest, they're coming with their money. Now, really, they don't have to protest, but they have money and they're just going to protest too for shits and giggles because they can. Negroes want to protest without having any fucking money. For example, there's this hoe out in Baltimore who made this goddamn march for Colin Kaepernick. Right? Now, these niggas don't have any goddamn money. But what they're going to do is they're going to come to the goddamn NFL headquarters and protest. Shout out to my man Amos Coates out there in the Netherlands. These niggas are going to show up outside of the goddamn football stadium and protest You niggas don't have $5 to rub together. Now, in that situation, if I was the NFL, what I would do is get a pit bull. I wouldn't even stick them on you. I would have about 32 pit bulls take shits. Right? I would just give them X-Lax so they can shit everywhere. I would hire some people to pick that shit up and throw it at you motherfuckers as you're standing there. That's what I would do. I would literally try to get as much cow manure in some sort of machine to just throw it at you punk motherfuckers who are going to show up to that goddamn because that is exactly what you're worth. When you show up, you have no political ideology, you have no money, you have no power. Yeah. What they should do is just every time that I tell you that would get these niggas from protesting, just start throwing shit on them. Literally. Is ABL here?
ABL
yes, sir.
Here. Yes. I wish
I would. You know what? And next time, I wish if I come back, I'm gonna just start hiring dogs to shit. I want to order. Is there a place I can order 1,000 pounds of dog shit? I mean, seriously, I could take my Patreon money for 1 month. All of us, if we can raise 1,000 pounds of dog shit, all black men that believe what I'm saying, we show up to these fucking rallies and we throw it on these goddamn stupid ass fucking people. We fuck all they nice shit up, just wham, 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 and let them, But my bad. I'm sorry. ABL, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey man, thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Now we have 3 black conservatives all at one time. There's 3 coons all at once. We might get arrested, man. If they all of us at the same time, we can't go to Baltimore, West Side. They're gonna kill us. You still there?
Man. Yeah, I'm here. I'm right here.
Yeah, we're here.
ABL, what you want to weigh in on this, man? Let's take it from your point of view, man, about this whole situation.
All right, man. Where do we start?
Well, I mean, just how do you feel about start where you want? You're ABL, man. I mean, how can I tell you where to start, man? You're a legend. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be like you when I get grown.
All right, so we're talking about Charlottesville, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, man. That's not too far from where I live. Probably about 2 hours away from where I'm at right now. It's an unfortunate situation. The media, the reaction to it has been crazy because it's been an uneven reaction. When you're talking about Steve Scalise, when he got shot, ironically, also in Virginia, he got shot in Alexandria, which is like right outside of DC. It's right there, and I think it's in Fairfax, which is like right on the Potomac River. When he got shot, it was people that was almost kind of like cheering it on, saying that, oh, that's what he gets because he's a Republican, is that and the third. But then when you got this young lady who's also white, by the way, who gets hit by the vehicle and unfortunately she dies, then they want to say, oh, white nationalism getting out of control. It's white people, they can't control themselves, is that and the third. But in both situations, both people were white. The problem is that one situation, you had people that were white that were more on the right. In the other situation, people that was on the right, they were protesting. In the other situation, you had people on the right that were minding their own business who was attacked by somebody on the left. So when somebody on the left does it, it's okay. But when somebody on the right, then it's not okay. It's different reactions. So that's kind of how I look at it. And also they try to lump in the police that got killed in the helicopter crash as part of the whole thing. No, they died in a helicopter crash. It was a separate incident. It was not like they came to the scene and somebody hit them with a drone or RPG or something like that and shot them out the sky. It was an accident that just happened to happen at the same time as other events were going on.
Let me ask you this. This country is Virginia is a Democratic state too, right? For the most part. I'm asking you, Anthony, is Democratic a Democratic? Is it a Democratic state? Virginia is a Democratic state too, right? Hold on, let me put Ronald Armstrong on mute. Can you hear me, Anthony?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it's a Democratic state, right?
Virginia is a Democratic state technically, but most of that comes from Northern Virginia, like in Alexandria, Fairfax, like right outside of DC. That's because you got a lot of people right there, and most of them pretty much vote liberal because they want big government, because their whole economy up there is funded by the government. But the rest of Virginia is pretty much all red. Where I'm at is kind of a mixed area because you got a city right here. You got a big black area, Norfolk, Portsmouth. That's a large black population. So that's pretty much goes all Democrat. But once you go outside of here, like 90% of the state is all red. But unfortunately, because of Fairfax and some of the bigger cities, it makes it go blue.
Okay, let me ask you this. from a black point of view, I know this is typically a white on white issue that happened here, but from, I seen something like this similarly happen where you had black people who were showing up to Donald Trump rallies, which I didn't understand that. To me, if these people wanted to have this rally in Charlottesville, and I'm excluding the whites that were there. I'm talking about black people because this is a black show. It makes sense if I know that white nationalists are going to be there and they want to have a meeting or whatever, and it's scheduled, right? They did everything they needed to do to come out and want to have their own say. It's a free country. Why does my black ass have any reason to want to go? It doesn't even make fucking sense. Why the fuck would I show up? Obviously, they don't want my black ass there. It's not a Jerry Curl weekend or nothing like that. This is a white nationalist. They don't like certain things. They definitely don't want, they're trying to preserve certain things. Why can't black people just understand that, listen, let these white people have their fucking thing that they want to do, and let us stay on our side of town and do what we want to do? Why can't a lot of these Negroes on the left get that?
Well, I mean, in this situation is kind of complex because there's a lot of different people involved. The first people that were involved, which was, I think that was that Friday night, it was pretty much the students at UVA, University of Virginia. They came out there with the candle lights and the tiki torches and all of that. They're pretty much all students, and they were protecting the statue from being removed of Robert E. Lee. Then the next day, that's when things got different. That's when all your other groups, your Black Lives Matter, your Antifa, some of your more your white nationalists, some of them all came together to converge at this one point. And the reason why a lot of them just don't stay pretty much to themselves and avoid the conflict is because these people are looking for conflict. It's like people that engage in a fight club. They want to go and engage in that fight. That's what they want to do. They're not there for any kind of real discourse, for any kind of conversation. It was funny. Fox News was interviewing people as they were walking. There was some white guys. They were walking. And it's like, hey, where you guys going? We don't know. Hey, you don't know? Nah, we just walking. Because they're just there. They don't even know what they're there for. They don't even know who Robert E. Lee was. They don't even know who voted for the statue to be removed. They don't know nothing. They just want to be there for the conflict. And a lot of that was started back in 2014 when you had Ferguson, Missouri. That was a catalyst for, in my humble opinion, as of late. Because at that point, you set a precedent that says, okay, we're going to come out here and we're going to fight. We're going to riot. We're going to loot, whatever we want to do. Whatever is permitted, we want to come here to do that, to promote our brand. Sometimes I saw some signs that said Black Lives Matter with a red, black, and green color scheme on it. It had a website on the bottom. Why is your website on a sign at a protest? It's because you're trying to promote yourself. You see what I'm saying? People doing that. I mean,
ABL.com on that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, people got they biker vests with their logos on it. Now I know with the biker gangs or whatever, or biker groups, that's a common thing. But at the same time, they know that they're being seen by the camera. They want that attention. They want that 5 minutes of fame, so to speak. So a lot of that is going on. And then a lot of them want to fight anyway. Some of them think that they're trying to fight against the white man. You know what I mean? They think they're doing that, but really all they're doing is putting themselves in harm's way.
You know, can I say something here? Because I just want to give a kind of a different perspective from someone.
Yeah, well, first of all, introduce yourself, man. Everybody know who you are, player.
How's it going, brother? This is Ron K. Armstrong, filmmaker extraordinaire.
Okay, so everybody knows that I did if you guys remember, I've done at least 2 shows with Ronald K. Armstrong. Talked to him offline. He's a very, very intelligent guy, a lot to offer. Like to get him on more. So that Ronald, if you want to know, that's Anthony Brian Logan, the great conservative over there.
Awesome.
I'm sure you're pretty certain, Mr. 100,000 subscribers. And the other bald-headed guy is not as so good looking as the other one, though. No homo. I'm just
not at all.
That's Steve the Dean Williams, sex coach, dating coach, teach you how to eat ass if you have problems with that.
Hey,
brothers, it's good talking with you.
Hey,
yeah, I wanted to give a perspective because actually I was born and raised in Charlottesville, Virginia. I have a house out there in Fork Union. And, recently I went back and I kind of saw like the house that I have is near a drive-in movie theater. So that tells you a bit of how back in time things are down there. But one of the things you have to understand is that you do have like a large majority of Black and white people living side by side. And it's a lot of poverty out there. I mean, when I went back, I have family members who live on farms, and I kid you not, we have chickens that run through the house, like it's nothing. And we, when I was growing up, we had an outhouse and you had to get your water from a well. So and we live again side by side with whites. The one thing that I see, and I'm just saying that just to let you understand what our brothers and sisters are going through, because if you're living in a big city like Los Angeles or New York, you don't realize that this poverty still exists. We think poverty, it's like, oh, I can't buy new Jordans. That's not poverty. We're talking about where people, the job opportunities are almost zero out there. They have no opportunities. So these brothers and sisters get bored. They drive around. They don't know what they want to do. They get involved in like drugs and alcohol. But the thing is to keep in mind is that the one thing I see that's very consistent with us is we get into symbolism. Now, General Lee, I don't care about that statue. That's not the important thing. The University of Virginia has a history of systemic racism. Slaves.
Oh boy.
It helped build the University of Virginia. There were slave quarters in the basement, and yet individuals like myself have to pay to go there, which is, because we don't have reparations, and because we not stand up for our rights, we now find ourselves in a situation. So what disturbs me the most is here we are in 2017, and we're still going through the same thing. So my question is this: I'm wondering where the Nation of Islam is. I'm wondering where the Garbites are. I'm wondering where all of these Black Panthers, where are they? The thing is, we need to build an economic structure. We don't need to be concerned with the symbolism of moving statues or about this white supremacist. I made a film. I don't know if your brother saw it, but it's called White Power. And you can look at it. Just go to whitepowershort.com. And this explores the whole ideology of what they believe and how hypocritical and what they are about. Now, they are, in fact, a terrorist organization. This is not about free speech.
When you say they, who are you talking about specifically?
White supremacists. The alt-right.
The alt-right is they're terrorists.
Yes, they're reframing.
Let me finish that.
Okay, all right.
Listen, however you want to call it, because they are terrorist organizations, because they're reframing and they want to do they want to rebrand themselves to be more of like, oh, we're all for white rights. We were nationalists, but they're not. Let me tell you something. The Klan, neo-Nazis, skinheads, and even the Republican Party finds the base of where they come from the neo-Nazi movement.
Oh Lord.
But
yeah, this guy.
You guys, this is getting good, man. This is good. I like controversy. This guy is doing pretty good, man. Keep going. Keep going.
So if you guys, I'm just saying, if you research Operation Paperclip, when the United States government took the Nazi scientists and brought them here to this country, the first thing they did was put them into the Republican Party. And, the Republican Party can claim all they want, how they stood against racism or slavery. But the fact of the matter is that this country is founded on neo-Nazism.
Okay. You know what? I like differences of opinion.
How that makes sense? How was a country founded on neo-Nazism when that
smart brother? Gotta give him. He's in the intelligent panel. Steve, wake up! Stop watching porn on your phone. Let's let ABL, because he was giving a lot of doing all of that, man. Come on, come on, ABL. Come on.
I gotta first. Okay, to my man from Charlottesville. Shout out to Virginia. 2 up, 2 down. You see my flag in the background. Born in West Virginia, raised in Virginia, Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake. I know all about this area. This is where the slaves first came, right here in Williamsburg, Jamestown, 1611. So I know all about what you're talking about as far as how the country was founded. I'm kind of confused about how you say that the country was founded on neo-Nazism when that didn't come about until like the 1900s.
No, precisely. But the ideology of what the country is about in terms of racism is based on neo-Nazi philosophy.
But how was that possible when this country was founded much before that? Before that was even a thing? I'm kind of confused. Did that exist before the 1900s, or am I wrong?
The basis of neo-Nazism is eugenics, okay? It's the fostering and the propagation of the master race, okay? So the basis of slavery was about how blacks are inferior. That's the same ideology.
Okay, so it's not neo-Nazism. It's basically talking about white superiority.
It's the same thing. We're just playing with labels and definitions.
Well, not really. You mean let's just call it what it is, rather than just having a name that kind of is sexy. Why not just call it what it is? Just say that it's based upon blacks being inferior and whites being superior, rather than neo-Nazism, which did not come about until over 200 years later, after the country was founded.
The term and definition of neo-Nazism, you're correct, but the ideology of what the Nazis stood for still was the basis of slavery, that black people were inferior.
So why wasn't no slaves? Did Germany have slaves during the Nazi era?
I don't know if you ever had slaves.
I mean, but like, I'm gonna move on from that. Now, as far as Virginia, like, how is Virginia like have institutional racism? I've been here all my life. I've never really experienced that. And I'm right here, right where it all started, right where the slaves first came. I never experienced that. So I just want to see from your point of view.
So you're saying that there's not a disproportion of black people that are unemployed in Virginia?
Oh yeah, of course there are. But why? Is it because of racism? Now, if it is, how do you prove it?
It is because of race. How do you mean? How do you prove it? That's ridiculous.
I mean,
the
no,
legacy
it's a question
of slavery has put us 2 steps behind.
Well, excuse me.
Hold on. I got him, Steve. So you saying
the legacy of slavery has put us 2 steps behind.
So you saying there's institutional? You saying there's institutional racism? That means things that are on the books that you can look to say this law is preventing black folks from being able to do X, Y, and Z. But now you saying the legacy of slavery, those two things are not the same. The legacy of slavery is something that is like, hold on. The legacy of slavery is something that is just like.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. The transfer of wealth. Right, the country benefited off slavery. Right, this country benefited off slavery.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if this country benefited off slavery and slaves were given freedom, and they were not compensated for the work that they put in to build this country, that does not put us 2 steps behind.
That's true.
No.
What does it have to do with you, though?
No, because the truth is. How about this? Watch this.
Okay.
Most people that got the money that's white are not even from America. Like they came like after slavery was over with. Yes. So how do you explain that? People that came from Italy and stuff like that to work on the railroads. Like, how do you explain that?
Can you prove that though? How can you prove that?
Like what?
What you just said. What you just said. How can you prove that though? How can you prove that those who are Italians?
I mean, you can look at
the majority of money in the, because if I'm not mistaken, right, the first Irish president was John F. Kennedy, which was a big deal because he was Catholic. I didn't even really. Did you even see Italians and Irish? And I think the brother has a point. I'm just saying. I don't think you can prove what you're saying.
Well, right. Okay, but regardless of proving or not proving, let me ask this man a question. Mm-hmm. What the fuck does that have to do with what you doing today? Yeah, all that happened. All that happened. All that. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I mean, excuse my language. Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cuss. Go ahead.
No, my question is, okay, if everything you're saying is correct and true and all the other stuff, what does that have to do with you right now in the present?
Everything to do with you, brother.
To be a victim.
Yes, to be a victim. Everything to do. Now, I don't subscribe to the victim mentality, right?
No,
sir, what I do subscribe to.
Have you heard everything that you say? I've been quiet. I haven't said anything. Mm-hmm. Everything you're saying is poor me, blame, point the finger. It's his fault. His fault.
Actually, Steve, he did say though, in his defense, he did say that it is stupid for us to go and protest. He's advocating for an independent black. That's what he's advocating for. He's pretty much saying the same thing that I'm saying that you're saying in just different ways. I'm pretty sure he said that.
No, yes, I'm not. I don't think so. I think you're saying different things here.
I think because he's
stupid. Answer what you said, Ronald.
What I said was that we need to build an economic power base, a structure to take care of our own people, and not be concerned with symbolism and protesting and all that.
That's what you guys are saying, right? I know Steve is saying that.
Well, no.
I know Steve's saying that.
Right, but when I'm okay,
what
I'm lost is this young man here. All I'm hearing is the past as he's utilized. This is what I'm talking about when you take slavery and you use it as a rock on your back to give yourself a reason why you don't want to do anything. And even where you live, because I say I lived in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm from DC. I'm from all up around that area. But here's the thing: if you are living where you say you're living at, and there are no jobs, and there is so-called racism, I'm not saying there isn't, what is your excuse to not either leave that area or create your own business and build your own wealth so you don't have to deal with the so-called racisms that you say that you're dealing with because of slavery, something that happened centuries ago? You're using it today as a reason, man.
You all are saying the same thing at the end result.
Nah, not really.
At the end result, what he's saying is black people need a power base which is independent, which is for black people, and not be concerned with symbolism, which means that you should not be concerned with the bullshit marches and stuff like. He's saying the same thing that I think I'm saying. He just has he's going about it a different way. But at the end of the day, he's saying that we got to give him credit for what he's saying.
Okay,
he is saying that black people should not be concerned with that bullshit.
But he's concerned with it. He bringing. If you're not concerned, why are you bringing up Nazis? Why are you bringing up? If you're not concerned, have you ever heard me now? And have you ever heard me say, "Well, it was the Nazi, it was master this, and it was this back then, and big back then." I don't ever. The history is our history. That's what happened. But we have more opportunities today, right now, August 13th, 2017, than we ever had before. And if you don't jump on that boat, it's your fault.
He's not saying that that's not true. What I'm saying is this. If you take, listen, this is what I'm saying. And we all got it. I think he said some things in there that you just did not agree with. You thought it was leftist talking points.
Oh, it is.
It
definitely is.
It some of it sounds like it, right?
Yes,
but you cannot deny, and we just be honest here. You cannot deny that what he's saying is true.
Okay, all right, Oshay, okay, yeah, okay. Look at Oshay, it's true.
We're sitting here and say that he's lying. We are all being disingenuous. But the brother is saying is not.
Okay, I have a question.
It's true. Now what? If I agree with him, now what?
See, my question earlier, my question earlier did not get answered. My question was, now, if we're going to be black folks and worried about the legacy of slavery, as to why we're not doing well right now, as to why we're disproportionately out of employment, as to why we are not, doing well, school system, penitentiary, et cetera, what about those Europeans and also the Asians that came here after slavery was over in the early 1900s and beyond that, who have surpassed us? What's going on with that? People that came with nothing, with absolutely zero, with no money, the shirt with the clothes on their back. The Italians went to West Virginia and became coal miners. Why are they not having the same problems we're having? The same thing with the Polish and everybody else. Why are they doing well where we're not? How about the Chinese come here to work on the railroads? What about them? What about people from the Indian subcontinent, India, Pakistan? What about them? So why is it only us that has a legacy of slavery to blame? That's why we're not doing well.
Absolutely. Good point, brother. Good point. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outliers, because that answers your question, but I'll elaborate on that. The first thing I want to say is, listen, as I said before, and I want to emphasize this, I grew up where there was an outhouse and a well from which you had to get water. I went back recently because I do maintenance on my house in Fork Union, and brothers or sisters are still living like that. They are not educated. They have no aspects of terms of job opportunities or education. It's not there. And the reason being is because, and this is what I call you talk about, well, what does the past have to do with the present? We have more opportunities. There are three key levels that we have to understand that puts you in your present condition. It either puts you 2 steps behind and 2 steps forward. The first thing is human resources. When you are born into single parent household, or you're born with parents who are in poverty.
Wait a minute. Pause 1 second. Wait a minute. Let him pause.
You don't have access. I'm talking. You don't have access to human resources. What I mean by, I don't have an uncle who's an attorney. I don't have a cousin who's a doctor that I could go to and utilize and say, you know what? How do I put together a business? How do I start a corporation? I don't have that. The majority of white people in this country have connections like that. That's human resources. The other thing is culture. If you are brought up in a culture where your parents own and operate a business, that instills tenacity, dedication within you. If you're brought up in a culture where your parents are avid readers and college educated, then that instills that within you. The other thing is economics. If you're born into a family who has economics like a Barack Obama, that his grandmother gave him $500,000 to start with, if you don't have family that can do that, then you're 2 steps behind. Those 3 factors, if you look at that, those are the things that are missing from present day blacks in this country. We don't have the human resources. We don't have a culture of where we were conditioned to be business minded, to be assertive, to be aggressive. You know what we have? We have a culture of social engineering that whenever you turn on the TV, educated black men are not shown. Educated black men are shunned. We are the ones that are looked at and say, yo, something's wrong with you. Educate black women to go with thugs and Pookie and Ray Ray. This is what we're living in today.
Okay, let me say something real quick. I know you guys,
dude, please.
Then I got him. Okay, then yeah, this is getting good. All right. I mean, because here's the thing. We are all four super intelligent black men, right? We can agree to disagree. Steve, all that fucking blowing.
I'm going crazy. I'm trying to be. I'm shutting them up. I'm just crazy.
Hey, you guys got almost 300 people watching, so you guys are all stars because I couldn't do shit by myself. Let me just say this.
I got notes and everything, Doc.
I do too, ABL. We got to. Oh, this is about.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me just say this. Anthony Brian Logan, you made a statement, and you said, well, and Dynas is going to get on here too. So you know, Dynas is really gonna be on your ass. So I'm just saying. And Jay Miller. So let me say this. Dynas is on the call. Dynas got naked. He went and got his goddamn African shit on. It's going down. Okay. I'm just saying. There's gonna be some internet fighting going on. But listen, let me say this. ABL. You said, well, how can you talk about these people? These people who are Polish, right? And let's just deal with that because I'm in Poland right now, and I can kind of deal with that.
I got to interject on that one too. Can I?
Hold on, let me get him done. Let me get him done. Quick.
We got to do everything in order. We got to get the order. Just lay the order out.
We got to get the order. I know you got the order out. You look good too, man. I'm just saying, you look real good with that on right now, boy. No homo. I'm just saying, if I could wear it to the club, I would get at least 14 bitches if I was single. I'm just saying. You're doing all right, player. Let me see this, ABL. When these people come from, and I'll just mute it so there's no background noise. But so when these people come to America, Anthony Brown Logan, what they also come from is, number one, they come to the United States with typically a language, right? These people speak Polish. These people come to America with a culture. And typically that culture, and for those people who do come over here, they come with a stronger family unit, right? And due to that culture, and due to that business understanding and understanding how to do certain things, they can implement a strict culture when they come to the United States, and then they can adapt to that and take that same work ethic into America and do what they do. Now let's look at black people. African Americans, you have to understand, and even Thomas, what's this famous Republican guy, writer, Thomas Sowell, right? What did Thomas Sowell say about the educated blacks and the uneducated blacks? He said that the white people back in the day separated blacks, the intelligent ones, from the unintelligent ones on purpose for the fear of being threatened. So when you separate blacks, and whites have done this because they even sent blacks over to Liberia. Francis Scott Key did that. Bushward Washington did that. You cannot compare equally black people who have been taken away from Africans. We can look at the Africans that come over here to America, and you can say, oh yeah, they're the most educated ones, but you don't want to talk about they come over here together. They come over here with a culture, and they come over here with the culture of working hard, which a lot of African Americans have been split up to do so against whites. You cannot sit here and say that, okay, if I'm coming to America with my own language, with my own culture, and I bring it to the United States, if I have some level of skill, I'm going to do well in that country once I learn the ropes. You know, black Americans, while some of us are doing very well, the majority of us have dealt with systemic racism from white people. And despite, I can give you an example of this. Right in Uganda, the Ugandans, who are the whole infrastructure of merchandise is ran by Pakistani and Indian people. They were brought there to Uganda. Why did they do so well? Because they have a strict culture. They dominate the whole merchandising market there. Go to black communities, Koreans, go to Africa, the Lebanese. They come there as immigrants, but do you know what they instill when they come there? That culture. And that is something that is missing from black people. We can't equally compare that. I think if you say that, that's being a little disingenuous to me.
Please, can I go? Can
we get the order though? Can you get order?
Let's go back to the LBL. Then we go to Steve.
All right. Okay. Now, how long are we going to blame whites for our problems that we have right now today? How long are we going to do that?
I totally agree with you.
I got a few questions. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna just go back to my man Steve. But how long are we going to do that? Because at the end of the day, you could say, okay, well, the Ugandans, they bring in people from other places and they have a better culture. Well, why can't the Ugandans have that same culture? Why not? They have not been removed from their place. They've been there for thousands of years. Why can't they have that same kind of culture? Why? So we can't just say, oh, well, because they got better culture. We can do the same thing. We're all human beings, ain't we? Second question.
I definitely agree.
Look at the poor white trash. Most of your poor white trash did not come from overseas recently. They have been there since slavery. So if you want to say that slavery impacted blacks, why can't we say they impacted the poor white trash? You don't see nobody you know, in West Virginia, where I'm from, that came from Italy, or not Italy, but Poland or somewhere recently. They have been there since like the 1700s, 1800s. That's
Do you know where poor white trash comes from? Do you have your research?
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let you finish. Let him finish. I'm gonna have some order here. Let him finish.
Now,
It'll come to you. Go ahead.
To my man, the filmmaker. Let's look at the single parent households. You want to say, okay, well, how are we going to succeed when we have single parent households? Well, we had 85 or 80% two parent households in the 1960s in the Black community. So why is it now that it's almost like the reverse, 72% single parent households, right? 80% two parent households in the 1960s in the Black community, but now 72% single parent households. Who's to blame for that, right? We had it better, but now it's not like that. So you can't say, oh, well, how are you going to do right when you don't have a two-parent household? But it's us that made the situation be what it is. Now you can say that the government played into it, but we're the ones that decided to get on the welfare and remove the man from the household. Now, second thing, white folks and extreme poverty outnumber all Blacks. So why is it that we have more crime and violence coming from the poor Blacks than from the Black community in general than the poor whites? The poor whites, if it's about if the crime and poverty and the bad things that happen in the Black community are a result of poverty, then the white people should have the same thing going on with them. But why is it not that way? And then my last couple points.
Pretty good.
Hold on. I think I got my last thing. Whose fault is it that our culture is bad? Like, whose fault is that? Like, I'm talking about right now today. You could talk about back in the day in the 1800s or whatever during slavery, but what about right now, 2017? Why is it that we cannot tighten up today? Why? That's all I got.
Good points, man. You really was writing pretty good. I think just make some strong points. Like I said, you guys are very bright. Let me do this before we go to Steve the Dean, because he's over there. He's ready to fight a heavyweight championship match. What I want to do is I'm somewhere in the middle of all you guys, right? So, you know, like I said, really appreciate you. Great points on every side, man. There's nobody that hasn't made great points. I would like people to do me a favor. We have 330 people watching only because Steve the Dean had that beautiful mirage in the background. And that's what you come over here to watch, because it's not my ugly ass. It's Steve the Dean. I want you, if you are a new subscriber or a new person to this channel, you'd like to hear Black people talk about a really controversial and great things, I would urge you to instantly subscribe to the channel. Put down that collard green a sandwich and subscribe right now, okay? And then also show us that you love us by hitting the like button, because Steve the Dean is over there in the corner practicing his left hook, okay, that he's going to perform. So if you're in the chats right now, I would really appreciate it. We have an excellent panel today. My man Dynast will come after Steve the Dean. So let's continue to like the video, brothers, if you're here. And everybody's waiting for the Dynast and Steve the Dean debates. As always goes down like that on this channel every Sunday. So Steve, let us know what we're missing, bro. What are we getting wrong here? In your opinion.
Chat room, I just wanted to talk to you guys, because with all due respect to the filmmaker, this is why the majority of us don't get shit done. Because with all due respect, the thing I want to ask the filmmaker is that if I looked at your computer or open up your TV, is it going to be like a hamster on a wheel running like he did in the Flintstone area? Because to me, you're stuck in this. We have to go to the library and get microfiche and fucking try to figure things out. There is this new thing. I don't know if they have it in that area. It's called the internet. It's an amazing thing. It's something that you use a thing called a keyboard. And the thing about the internet, is that you can go to college on it. You can go to college. You can create a business on it. You have choices. You see, the thing is that you want to do is, this is why I have a issue with, not with you, but what you're saying is you are all See, we are Black people are always problematic. And for myself, and I can't speak for ABL, but I feel I'm 1000 with ABL saying I'm a solution-based Black man. A problem to me is a meteor the size of Jupiter heading towards Earth. That's a fucking problem. But finding jobs, building businesses, you say there's nowhere we can go. How many times? How many Black people even watch Shark Tank? You can turn your TV. I always got to bring that up. You can turn your TV on and learn the language of business for free. every Friday night on ABC. I'm not trying to give him a plug.
So
I'm just trying to
what?
let you know.
So what? How do you get a
Of course,
loan?
wait,
How do you
Okay,
get
hold on. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
a
Ron.
small business loan? A small business loan.
Of
Let him finish.
course. You know what? Well, there's this thing called elbow grease and busting your ass and trying to do it yourself. Look, maybe the world is against you. Maybe they won't give you your business loan. So you got to maybe do something else, work an extra job. What, you can't work an extra job?
But
No,
if white
because
people are getting business loans and you're
I don't
not.
care. What does that tell me?
Hold
I
on.
don't care.
Your time's coming. Your time. Let him finish. Let him finish. We're gonna moderate.
If white, Asian, or Hispanic people are getting business loans, what the fuck does it have to do with me? I have to accept. I accept it as I am. I will accept it as it is because that's the problem with our people. We are not. We're all about what could be instead of what is. You know what? Maybe they won't give me that loan, but you think now. See, when you have this thing called drive, and you just got this leadership, and you got this desire and passion. You know what?
Positivity.
A door is going to close. But do I take my ball, go home, and bitch about something I cannot have anything to have? I can't bitch about the loans that they're not giving me. Or do I think to myself or try to find other ways, meet with other individuals who think like me, and maybe we all put our money together and maybe we start to create something small and work large. But see, the problem is but you know what? And this is why I'm going to last thing I want to say. This is why most black people are going to love you, filmmaker, because you give everybody a reason and excuse to be lazy, shiftless, bitch, whine, moan, and complain about the so-called white man. And if that was the case, then that means black business owners, there would be no such thing as black business owners in your world, because everything they try to do, the white man is stopping them. The Asian man, the aliens, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, you name it, they're all holding us down and we can't get out of that. Last thing I want to say is the reason I know that because my father himself, who had nothing, from Lake Charles, bumfuck Louisiana, excuse me, sorry guys, but didn't have anything. Did he cry when they laughed at him when he was wearing the same clothes every day? No, he busted his ass. And that's why I call bullshit on what you're saying, respectively.
Okay, let's do this. Because we have now, because it's going to be a heated thing. We have Dynast. I'll extend the invitation to Mr. Black if he wants to join. Jay Miller Speak Out was supposed to come too. So we have 5 opinionated people on one panel, possibly, and Mr. Black likes to talk. So we're gonna go to Dynast.
I gotta respond to that, Oshay.
Yeah, you can respond to it in a minute, but we want to get to Dynast, right? We want to be fair and let everybody say something to say, because I want to see Dynast get on ABL ass.
No, it's not that. It's just ABL.
Angryman first just getting in here. Angryman, before I go, shout out to Angryman. I tagged you in the commission chat for like 32 hours.
Yeah, I call Angryman.
I was up all night.
Send the link. I'm like, hold on, I had to make sure, like, hey man, I wasn't trying to do this shit without you or nothing. I want you to, like, hey nigga, you try to have a motherfucking brother pill without me, motherfucker. Don't you know the motherfucking Angryman, nigga? You get your motherfucking ass, you bitch ass. I mean, I don't want to have no problems, bro.
Nah, man.
Oshay, can I respond?
Fight out here on a nigga or nothing. Go ahead.
Can I respond to it? First,
you can respond to him. Hold on, I want to get the Dynast, man, because Dynast got his African shit on. I don't want nobody. I don't want to
respond to that real quick, and I'll let you.
Okay, real quick now.
Okay, shout out to Angryman. I watch your stuff. You're awesome, bro. All right. Just so brothers know, I'm in technology. I have my own startup. I hire people. I get investors for my film, so I know what it takes to get a business loan. I know what it takes to start a business. So that's all I want to say.
Okay, cool. We're gonna come back to you because it's gonna get heated, man. Oh, Alan Roger Curry wants the link. Oh, hold on, stop the goddamn show. I didn't even see this. There's so many. Oh shit, I'm in my car, but you might have to. This nigga is gonna crash his goddamn car into a donut shop, trying to talk on this shit. See, he always say, "No, don't send me the link," but he wanted the link. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give Alan Roger Curry the link too. So we got everybody want to get on this. You know who Alan Roger Curry is, right? You know he is. Okay. It's a lot of light-skinned people on this motherfucker. That's many of you niggas on here. And you an angry man. Y'all thinking I'm El DeBarge or some shit, man, going down this motherfucker. Okay, listen. All right, let me see. Dynast, what you want to? I mean, Dynast, I know you wasn't feeling what ABL was saying, man.
No, not at all. I mean, I think ABL, you're being intellectually dishonest when you brought up the point that I guess Irish and Polish and Italians, why did they do better when they came to America after slavery than Black people? And the simple fact is, and John Johnson talked about this in his book, Succeeding Against the Odds, that, I mean, it's simple. They were given preferred treatment. I mean, we were still in Jim Crow. I mean, we were still being redlined. I mean, we were still being discriminated with. And he mentioned specifically that when you talk about the marketplace as far as business, Jews, Italians, Asians, Italian, Polish, Irish, they were allowed to sell to the marketplace, and Black people, we were completely kept out of the marketplace as far as business goes. And that's been documented. And then, I mean, to sit here and say that the legacy of slavery does not affect us today, it's just false. And I mean, and especially Jim Crow, I mean, again, being redlined, and I mean, you gotta understand, the wealth that's passed through the white community is passed down generationally. All right, we just got out of segregation, what, 40, 50 years ago?
Oh my God.
So, I mean,
listen, you guys, let this man talk. This is not no. I'm nigga-fied, but
Go ahead, Donnie. Go ahead,
on my
Donnie.
shit.
Sorry, it's calm. It's calm.
Y'all, listen, man. You chicken eat motherfuckers. Listen on my shit. Y'all gonna have some goddamn sense. Let this man say what he gonna say. Shit.
I mean, that's the fact. But to sit here and say that doesn't affect you today, when again, the wealth is passed on generationally, and I mean, we just been, I guess, free or out of segregation just the last 2 or 3 generations, and saying that can't affect you or affect your family members or passing down wealth, that's just absurd. Again, especially at everything they've thrown at us, I mean, all over this planet. So again, I mean, to sit here and question why other immigrants have gotten ahead above us, in front of us, post-slavery, is because they were given preferred treatment, and that was documented.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's documented. I mean,
yes.
Again, and John Johnson, who started Ebony Magazine, I mean, he spoke about it in his book. I mean, he said specifically that Black people were kept out of the marketplace. I mean, we could sell to each other, but we weren't allowed to sell to others.
Okay.
Versus Italians, they were allowed to sell to everybody. Jews were allowed to sell to everybody. Black people, we weren't. And to sit here and think that would not affect us presently today, I mean, that's just nonsense. Now, I don't make any excuses. I would say that. So I do agree with you on that. I would not make any excuses, but to sit here and not be empathetic and not think that it doesn't matter, or if you even complain about it, that you're being, a whiny baby, is ridiculous. Because I mean, that's history.
And the thing about it too is and I agree with you, brother. The Jews, Italian, and the Irish, when they got into business and industries in this country, they locked it down and prevented Blacks from getting any opportunities in those businesses.
Let me do this. Hold on a second, guys. We're gonna talk in turn. We got a lot of fucking people on tonight. Next person up is the Angry Man, right? Because he just came in. We want to Dinus. That was some good shit right there, man. Come ABL. I know you got 14 pieces of paper. I know. You got a whole dissertation. Steve, he just ready to fight somebody. Hey, Angry Man, what you've been here? This is a heated debate going on about. We talked about the nationalist thing here, but it's been taking a little bit more breast into other things. Now, since you've been here, I know you woke up like 3 seconds ago. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, player. But you had a tough night last night, and you must have been drinking Kool-Aid to Hennessy or something. And you just look sleepy, man. I'm gonna mail you some no-dos, nigga. But anyways, Alan Roger Curio. See that 3 lights getting the motherfucker at the same time. Oh shit. Okay, take all my bitches. Listen, how you feel about what's being said, bro? Because we have people from 2 different sides of the fence. We have some serious Black conservatives on here. We got, where does the Angry Man stand on what you've been hearing so far?
Well, both sides, from what I can tell, there's 2 opposing views. There's, the view that slavery has and still affects us today. There's the view that shouldn't be the excuse. Both sides are making some valid points. But let me say this. Slavery, because of the fact of, I understand what the brother was saying about Black people not having access to the wealth of America. That's true. for the most part. We don't have access in the way that a lot of other ethnic groups have it. You know, white people, they've always had access to the wealth in this country because they're white people. People who come from other countries, the Africans and, you know, different cultures, they come here and they get the first couple of years tax free, you know, and they're able to go and get loans and things of that nature. That is true. You know what I'm saying? And that has affected us. However, at the same time, if you look at the groups back in the day that were struggling before they came to America, back during the time where blacks were on top of things, which there was at one point, you know, those white people that were in these countries that were, you know, didn't have the same wealth as Africa, they didn't complain about the fact that they didn't have the same wealth as Africa.
Preach.
They took it. They took it. And this is what our problem is in this country today, is the fact that, yes, all of those things have occurred. Slavery occurred, all of those things. And even if you want to take it to the point of slavery being genetically passed down, like certain habits, certain things being genetically passed down. There's a book called The DNA of Us, where it basically spells out the majority of what you call African Americans. We have such a wide mixture in us that the African part of us that went through slavery, that's only 1%. Like, we have other percentages of other racial groups, other ethnicities in us. So even if you want to take it to the genetics of saying that, oh, well, we're still affected by slavery genetically, you know, it shouldn't be as bad as it used to be. And then on top of that, you have to go back to your Black Wall Streets and things of that nature and say, well, if it's affecting us today, why didn't it affect the brothers and sisters, you know, fresh out of slavery that were able to build these communities and able to do these things? Like right now, what we got going on in this country, and the main reason that we're in such bad shape is because of the fact that we don't have intact family structures. You know, we don't have intact family structures for whatever reasons. You know what I'm saying? There's numerous reasons, but that's a key problem that has to be fixed. And my whole thing is, I acknowledge all of the things that have occurred to make us disadvantaged. My thing is, I come from dudes that we take what we want. We don't allow our disadvantages to stop us from being able to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And I think that there's a lot of black people, not saying anybody on this panel, but there's a lot of black people. I think racism, segregation, all of these different things affect us as black people as a whole, but I don't feel it affects us as individuals. I feel like an individual can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish because there's more than one way to skin a cat. Mm-hmm. I may go to this bank and I may not be able to get a business loan from this bank, but I can figure it out somewhere else. I can get that money from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, you guys may have a little bit more morality than me, but you know, I go to the trap store and get a loan if I'm cool with them. Mm-hmm. That's just me. But you know what? That's just me. But that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? That's what white folks did back in the day when you had these liquor barons, you had these numbers runners, you had these, like, you know, they did a bunch of shit that they wasn't supposed to do. You know, they took their little chances and did what they did. And a few generations later, their family is legit and they got wealth and all of these things. Like, I remember back in the day when my uncles used to talk about how they used to run liquor and you know, back during Prohibition, there was a lot of white people that did that. There was a lot of white people that engaged in illegal activity that built their wealth. And now they have wealth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not telling anybody to do nothing illegal. Let's just get that out the way. But all I'm saying is, if you want something, you got to take it.
Okay, let me do.
Can't, you know.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Angryman, I agree about that.
Hold on. Wait. Let me finish. We're gonna talk in turn.
No, I'm finished. I was just saying you gotta.
We want to do this. You gotta take it here. You know, I run my panel. I'm a niggified, but I run my shit like a white motherfucker. I let everybody talk equal. I got too many niggas on this goddamn shit. Now listen, I appreciate everybody here. Okay, first of all, if you brothers are in here, like the video. We have 362 watching, right? Because y'all know y'all ain't here to see my ugly ass. So I know that's what it can't be. We got a all-star panel. Anthony Brown Logan has at least 15 pieces of paper with notes on it. Steve the Dean is you want to say something racist, but he try not to. And we got Dynast looking like Marcus Garvey Jr. And we got my man over here, Ronald Armstrong. That's a light-skinned motherfucker, ain't I'm just saying. I'm like, nigga, how can you get your hair like that? I'm just saying, I have to buy some shit to get my shit. That's a nice S curl. Is that natural? He like one of them Duke S curl kit models. Remember they used to be on the side? Shout out to him. Listen, everybody like the goddamn video. We're gonna go to Alan Roger Curry, and then who's next? Steve, then ABL, then Ronald, and then I'll let you niggas kill each other on my shit. Fuck it. So get the likes up. If you're just new to the channel, subscribe. Okay, it's a great show. I know. Keep liking the fucking videos. I keep telling you niggas every fucking time you come to my goddamn shit, you niggas don't never do what the fuck I tell you to do. But anyways, like the goddamn video. Alan Roger Curry, what's going on, man?
Well, I'm trying to surmise what the specific issue is right now, because I came in late in the discussion, but I saw that the headline was about the incident that happened in Virginia.
Right. You know how niggas are. We just go on in any kind of direction. It's nothing. You know how black people are.
So, yeah, the discussion I've been hearing since I tuned in, I mean, that could be a 10-hour discussion. We can debate all day about what brothers need to do for themselves or sisters need to do for themselves. But me, not being a black conservative, me, a brother who voted for Obama twice and watched domestic incidents happen on his watch, and Donald Trump was always the first to open his goddamn mouth. And now we have an incident in Virginia that was highly unfortunate, and his whole demeanor almost seemed jovial at times. He didn't even seem like he was disturbed. The white man, a lot of them, the reason they marching because they feel threatened. People saying brothers don't need to hang on to slavery. I'm saying that some of these white men out here need to get a grip and realize Jim Crow, at least on paper, is over. A lot of their privilege is gone. We living in a new age. This is a technology age, and a lot of them ain't catching up. His brothers exceeding them, surpassing them. His brothers and sisters that are surpassing them. I've seen them on Shark Tank that Steve loves.
Yeah.
So they walking around talking about we will not be replaced. What the fuck does that mean? Your whole lineage is getting fucked up. You know why, Billy Bob? Because your daughter loves brothers now in this new century. She want to fuck a brother. And you know you ain't feeling that shit.
Yeah.
You ain't feeling that shit. Because now you're going to have biracial grandchildren instead of blue blood white children. And that fucks with you.
Shit, they already do.
Hey, shout out to Steve D. Shout out to Steve D.
This is getting good.
So you know, I see a lot of brothers and sisters over the years. Now, we've had, no doubt, our share of violent protests that got out of control. I would never defend a lot of the brothers and sisters who participate in that. But at the same time, to balance that out, I've seen brothers and sisters conduct many a peaceful protests. But this protest I saw was antagonistic in nature. It was antagonistic, walking around with a torch. I heard it, I haven't been verified for him, but I heard a lot of them were just yelling out the word nigger. And again, this president who got elected on the promise that we gonna make America great again, I want to ask this motherfucker, is this what you talking about? I haven't seen the greatness of this country some kind of resurgence and greatness? Please share that with me, Mr. Trump. You and all your nepotism going on in DC with your daughter damn near the first lady and running shit.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Ooh boy.
Pretty good.
Yeah, y'all can all boy all you want to.
He won't
but-
look at him. Look at him. He woke his fuck down. He all into the screen.
No, man, I ain't feeling this shit talking about we will not be replaced. Motherfucker, work on just earning a living and don't worry. Because here's my final point, then I'll shut the fuck up, man. We living in a world that diversity is prevalent. And a lot of, not all of them, I ain't gonna say most of them, but we all know there's a segment of white people, they ain't feeling diversity, man. They ain't feeling diversity. They ain't feeling Steve the Dean Williams got biracial kids because he married to a white woman. They ain't feeling that shit. They have issues with that shit. They don't want to see diversity permeate in all aspects of society. There's a segment of white America that wants shit blue blood like they feel it's been for years. And Donald Trump ain't stupid. He know that's what the underlying connotation when he said make America again is what he was saying is maintain our white privilege. Don't let this diversity overcome America to the point where brothers and sisters feel like they running shit. Hispanics feel like they running shit. Asians feel like they running shit. We're the ones who came to this country. And the hypocrisy, come on, let's be real. These guys came over from Great Britain because they didn't like being ruled over, and then they enslaved some brothers and sisters that they would have ruled over. What the fuck is that about?
It's hypocrisy.
That's my piece.
I gotta get in on this.
Okay, hold on. Whose turn is?
I think wait, you got the order. Who's up next?
I think it's you. It's you. Then I think we'll go ABL and then Ronald. Okay.
All right. All right. For Alan, real quick, I just want to say about the Trump thing. For all you motherfuckers, only one y'all can blame is yourselves because y'all motherfuckers didn't want to vote a woman in because you knew that bitch wasn't going to do the job right because she was all emotional and shit. That's why y'all lied to your friends and said you're going to vote Hillary and you voted Trump. So he's here. Change that shit in a few years if you don't like it. Now, getting back to the Dinah, my boy D-Dog, who wants to talk about slavery. So let me ask you a question. If you had a son and he didn't make the football team, and he came to you and say, Daddy, I just didn't make the football team. You went, well, hey, son, because of slavery, man, because your ancestors back in the day were slaves, and there's no reason that you didn't make the team because back in the day. No, I'm just saying that. Look, I love you, dog, but that shit sounds so ludicrous. Why do y'all keep bringing up shit that has happened years, not even years?
Ask the Jews.
I'm not asking Jews. I'm asking the black man. I don't care about the Jews. See, that's the problem. We always want to tilt our guns to the other races instead of staying on the street. I'm talking about our people. Why are we the only ones that when we don't get things that are working right for us, we always go to our ace in the hole card of slavery? Now, I told you, slavery was bad, slavery was messed up, but you're not only slavery, but what people have gone through with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and everybody that what they were fighting for have given all of us on this panel and everybody listening opportunity to do something and not sit around and bitch. Bitching is an emotional trigger that you get from mommy. Men don't bitch. Men pick up and handle their business. If it's not working, if this door closes, like I said, I'm finding another one, and damn it, I'm going through that door.
Do you practice IFA? Do you practice Bodun?
Wait. I know you guys went. We got a lot.
Okay, I know y'all want to. I just want to say all I'm trying to say is this: is that you emotional ass brothers got to stop being so fucking emotional over this shit and stop blaming. That's not what men do. If a lion misses a zebra, and I take it back to nature because nature don't tweet or Facebook and have computers, do you think the lion just be, well, I'm just gonna eat this grass? You know, I'm a man, shit, man. It's the fucking man and the slaves that took the slaves from Africa. I can't eat the zebra now. Y'all are too full of excuses, but this is how y'all create these cults of people that follow you. because losers, and I'm not calling y'all losers, I'm talking about people like y'all, not you guys, but losers follow losers. That's how it works, because losers need validation of an excuse of why they don't want to do something. How many of you motherfuckers are up at 3, 4 in the morning trying to work on your craft or your business? I bet you most of y'all are sleeping, not turning over from one side of the pillow to the next pillow, because y'all don't have that grind and that desire to want to make it. But you have a grind and a desire to make excuses, but not a grind and desire to want to be great. Because I don't care if it's a Martian, a white man, or a blue man. You're not going to stop me from building my business, because I'm going to do what I want to do regardless of my situations, because I'm solution based. Stop being problematic. It doesn't work. Well, it works.
So, Steve, what does that got to do with what happened in Virginia?
Well, what happened in Virginia again? That's a bunch of white people. That's a white people issue. Hey, look, like I said before,
the blacks that were there, not necessarily. This is a black show.
The blacks that were there again. What they normally do is they wait for something of this nature to happen, and they attach themselves to it, because then they want to hold up their Black Lives Matter signs and all this other stuff where they can riot, loot, destroy property and all this other shit. It just gives them it's all excuses. And last thing I want to say is, remember when good old boy Jesse Williams, y'all forgot. I'm gonna end it with Jesse. Because all y'all Jesse Williams lovers, boy, y'all love when he got up on BET and spoke for y'all, man. Y'all thought, man, Jesse's the one, man. We're going to follow Jesse to the end of the earth. And as soon as he got rid of his black wife and started hooking up with a white woman, y'all want to cut him off. That's how we are. That's what we do. We always attach ourselves to fucking violence and shit, but we don't attach ourselves to learning and growth. Not all.
Let me do this. I gotta get some shout outs real quick for the super chat. And I'm gonna go to my man Ronald Armstrong. I know this is a heated bet. Alan Roger Curry. Oh, you're next?
Yes.
Oh, you are next. Okay, then my bad, dog. Don't beat me up, man. Hey, you about 6'5", man. I don't want no problems, man. I just want to be a nigga with a receding hairline and eat this chicken. Shout outs to certain people. I can't even do the Harlem tonight. But let me do. Can I hit him with the Harlem real quick, Angry Man?
One time.
I gotta hit him with the Harlem because y'all done gave me some money and shit, right? So I'm sorry, ABL, I'm coming right towards you. Robert present.
ABL.
I agreed. We do have a disadvantage, but at the end of the day, we got to make it work because they're not going to do it for us. Great question. Thank you so much. $10. Miss Anthropic, always dropping the big money. $50. Man, you know I'm going to strip club with this. Holla, Steve, ABL, Angry Man all day. Love you, brother. Say love you, big bro. $20. Nick Taylor. Y'all niggas, man, I'm about to start stripping. This is very entertaining. Smart folks all around. I'm in the ABL, Angry Man, Steve the Dean Camp. Damn, Angry Man, you got all kind of fucking fans, man. What the fuck? King Demetrius, $20. Thank you, player. Warmac Waters. Brothers coming together. I love it. $15. Blatant. 2 British pounds. Right now, Cherry. The subject in the panel is lit. While I'm not a liberal, I do agree that American blacks have been fucked due to stolen generational wealth. And my man Amos Coast, the OG from the Netherlands, hit me up with 20 euros. All right, I got to ask the question. Angry Man.
Yeah.
Should I hit him with the Harlem?
Hit him with the Harlem.
Hit him with the Harlem.
Go ahead.
One time.
I got only the ABS. I got hit with the Harlem. Can I hit with the Harlem?
Go ahead. Hit that.
Okay. Go ahead. Ready? 3, 2.
Don't rap though, man, because it's gonna go.
I know. I'm gonna make you mute.
I think I know what I'm doing. All right. So Ryan, you gotta go, right? But Ryan, don't leave yet. Let me know somebody got to say, and then you just because he got his notes.
I mean, if you got to go, you can go ahead. I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, brothers. It was good talking with you, but I got an appointment I got to get to. But thank you.
All right, hey Ryan, man, you got to come back, man, so we can get this shit started again. Because you know how to set some fires and shit, man.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it, man. Come back.
Please come back. You want money, man.
Got love for all you brothers, man. All right, take it easy.
All right, peace off, fam.
All right, peace.
That's a good brother right there, man, for real. Who the hell got this? Who came on here? Oh, okay. All right, ABL, what's going on, man? I know you got the paper.
Yeah, I got a paper. I got a paper on deck, so I'm ready. Now, to my man, Alan Roger Curry. Okay. Now, about the riots in Charlottesville, or the riot, whatever you want to call it, protests or whatever, these things have been going on for at least about 3 years since Ferguson, Missouri, where you had the whole Michael Brown hands up, don't shoot thing, which was found out to later be false by the DOJ, headed up by the Black Attorney General, Eric Holder, right? So that was found out to be false. So it's been going on since then. And then it kind of just it's been a continuous thing. It's been a precedent that was set. First, you had Ferguson, then you had Baltimore, then you had other cities. Anytime somebody gets shot by police, whether they be right or wrong, you have some kind of racial tension, some kind of riot that happens. So it was something similar that happened here. And during the first night of the so-called riot, protest, or whatever, it was students peacefully out there protecting the statue with the torches, tiki torches. It's like pool decorations you get from Home Depot. It ain't really nothing that deep. The press made it to be something more than what it was. But then the next day, you had all these groups that came from all over the place: Black, white, Puerto Rican, Canyon Stripe, everybody, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, white nationalists, and all kind of other independent people that came to create problems, to create a ruckus. That's the reason why things get out of control. Now, what you said about diversity, what does that really mean, diversity?
What does it really mean?
Yes.
What do you mean, what does it really mean?
I'm asking you, what does diversity mean to you?
Diversity means incorporating everyone's contributions, opening up opportunities for everybody who has something to contribute intellectually, financially, otherwise, their talents, their expertise, as opposed to limiting things to one gender, one race or ethnicity, one age group, etc.
Okay, so how would that benefit us? You understand when you're talking about immigration and bringing people from all over the world, you know, Indian subcontinent, China, Mexico, etc. Look at what's going on right now in California and Los Angeles and Compton. Compton used to be, huh? We about to say down this?
Can I interject real quick? I did sales in LA with my current job I'm with right now, current company. My territory was South Central LA, Watts, and Compton.
Right.
The first time I went to those areas back in early 2000, it was predominantly Black.
Yes.
Now, like literally, there's a Carciniera on every corner in South Central LA, Compton, and Watts. It's predominantly Hispanic now. So I've said this before. I don't disagree with everything ABL is saying. So I'll say this right now. You know, liberals are more concerned with feminism and immigration than they are with Black folks. So for Black people to think that they're going to get ahead under the Democratic or liberal platform is just false. And I'm telling you, I lived in LA for 8 years. I see it. Like Black people are being gentrified and being kicked out. My joke is, you know, LA is such a sanctuary city for everybody but Black people. Black people are getting sent off to San Bernardino. In the Bay Area, Black people are getting sent off to Stockton, California. And Oshay, you know, Stockton, California, that's a shithole. So yeah, I just had to say that. My bad. Go ahead, Alan.
All right.
Go ahead, Anthony. ABL.
All right, Alan.
All right. So basically what my man Don is saying was correct about, you know, Compton, California used to be, you know, predominantly Black. Now it's all Hispanic. That's what diversity gives you. California used to be 18% Black. Now it's 6% Black. So how's that diversity working for us? Is it working in our favor? I doubt it. While we focus about diversity, we should be more worried about trying to get our own communities in order and being able to strengthen one another rather than bringing in other people. These people are not like on the same team as us. These people have their best interests at heart. You know, Hispanics come over here, they want to do with other Hispanics. They're speaking Spanish, they're not trying to learn English. Same thing with Asians. They come over here, they want to work for each other. They want to be able to send money back home, repatriate it back to China, back to Japan, back to Korea, back to Taiwan, back to wherever, the Indian subcontinent, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, etc. That's what they want to do. They're not on our side. So why are we as Black folks worried about them? They're worried about themselves. Okay.
Well, you're making my point, ABL. You what you're basically saying is I was making an argument that there's a segment of white America that's not in favor of diversity. But if I'm listening to you correctly, what you're essentially saying that there's also a segment of Asian America that's not down with diversity. There's a segment of Hispanic America that's not down with diversity. There's a segment of whatever other race that's not down with diversity. And so I'm not just saying that white people need to accept a diverse society. I'm saying everybody needs anybody who's just trying. Now, that's not to say we should all be engaged in interracial relationships and partying with each other. But to me, this slogan of we will not be replaced. Well, I ask you, ABL, explain that to me like I'm a fiend.
Well, my point about diversity is this. I'm gonna ask you a question, but then I'm gonna talk about my point about diversity. My point about diversity is this: why are we as Black folks worried about that? Because diversity means bringing other people, not just Blacks. So why are we worried about that? It doesn't make any sense. We need to be worried about ourselves, not other people. That's what I'm saying. And then to answer your question about we would not be replaced, I don't really know what that means, to be perfectly honest with you. All I could talk about is the reason why the initial rally was there to begin with, which was to protect the statue of Robert E. Lee from being removed. And the whole thing about white nationalism, that's their business. I don't have no dog in that fight. Obviously, I'm not white. But as far as removing the statues, I'm kind of in favor of that, because the simple fact that you're trying to reshape history. And then when you reshape history, you're able to change the way that history is actually viewed. It's just like sometimes I talk to people, and then I talk about slavery. I talk about how the North and the South both had slaves. People still to this day will argue with me. It's like, no, the North did not have slaves. See, that right there is somebody that has been successfully brainwashed and told about a different version of history than what actually existed. People don't even understand what they're talking about. And then that leads them to not understand what's going on today, because of the Democratic Party. All these policies that are on the books came from back then. And once you don't understand what happened back then, once you got an alternate view of history, you would not be able to properly understand what's happening today.
Okay, let me do this. Let me go to the Angryman channel real quick, because I know we got a lot of smart. So there's a lot of intelligence on here. I know I'm the dumbest motherfucker here. That's why I got smart friends. I always got smart friends. I always have smart friends, especially a few that use the word emphatically a lot. But
I got you, okay.
Hey, Alan Rodgers, you need to make a roast channel. Hey, Angryman, did you hear that roast that he just did, man? That he gave a 14-hour roast, man, today. You hear that shit?
Nah, I didn't hear it yet. I gotta go check it out.
Y'all know Alan Rodgers Curry was a stand-up comedian, man. He used to open for Robin Harris back in the day. You know that?
Oh, for real?
What? Y'all didn't know that?
Nah.
No,
Alan
most
Rodgers
people
Curry,
don't
man,
know that.
can I go out there? You think I got enough what it take to get up there and do some comedy, man?
Sure, man. You got what it takes.
Yeah, I probably go out there and get booed off the goddamn stage and come back to YouTube. All right, but listen, man. Let me, Angryman, what is? I mean, you've been hearing with the back and forth between these people. Weigh in however you want to feel, man, because I can't tell you how you do it. You know, you only do it the way you can do it, player.
Okay, so I want to point out. Let me point out.
He got all kind of shit in the background. Okay, go ahead.
Let me point out a couple of things. All right, because I want to point out something about generational wealth. I want to point out something about racist white people versus white people who aren't racist, because there are some that exist. My great grandfather, when he was a kid, his parents were poor, like they didn't have nothing, and he actually, there was this one place he used to go to all the time and beg for money. Like, this is when he was real little, like I'm talking like 6 years old or something like that. And there was this white man that was like a sheriff. Now, this dude, he was married. He had 2 boys already. And he used to see him all the time and give him money. And so one day he was concerned. So he went to the parents or whatever and asked them, if there was anything that he could do to help him. And they, basically asked him if he would take my grandfather and take care of him, because of the simple fact that they just couldn't take care of him. So he took my grandfather, raised him with his boys, treated him like, his adopted son. And when my grandfather got older, he pretty much taught, my grandfather everything he taught his boys or whatever, hard work ethic, all of those different things. My grandfather, when he got older, he worked hard and he was able to buy I think it was like 150 acres of land, which at the time in that particular area, which is Virginia, it was extremely racist. Extremely, where it's in Southern Virginia, down near Danville. That's where
like South Boston, all the area over there.
Yeah, in that area. So I'm talking about the area where if you're on 29 coming from North Carolina going into Virginia and you cross the state line, there's a rebel flag big as this world. It's still up there to this day. Okay, there's that type of Virginia. All right. So when he got this land, there was some white people that tried to get him out of his land. Some kind of way they came up with some bullshit to take his land from him. So his father, his adopted father, went and did what he needed to do to make sure that they gave him his land back. Okay. And to this day, in our family, we still have that land. So there's never going to be a time where I'm displaced. There's never going to be a time where I'm homeless, because that land is there. And all of my family have homes there and all of that shit. Some of the lots don't have any houses on it, but the majority of it does. And every once in a while, you know, if the family need money, they may sell timber off of the land and stuff. Now, this is generations later. You understand what I'm saying? This is generations later. This is a few generations later that we still have this land. And the reason why I wanted to point out that story is because one, my grandfather did not make any excuses for what was going on with him. Like, he went through the depression, all of that stuff. He worked hard, and he worked until he died. He worked his ass off, and he instilled that same work ethic into my grandmother and her brothers and sisters, who have spread all over the country and worked their ass off and got and accomplished a lot. And you know what I'm saying? He worked and got what he wanted, but at the same time, he got help from somebody that was white. So the reason why I'm trying to point that out is, one, black people need to understand, one, you're gonna have to work hard. Is there going to be bullshit that's gonna come your way because you're black? Yes, but you shouldn't close the door to every single white person for the simple fact that you believe that everybody is racist. Not all white people are racist. Some white people do have good intentions.
That's true.
And you got to understand, if they're white people, like, how was this dude able to get my grandfather's land back? White privilege. You see what I'm saying? You look at, like, a lot of times people point out Jewish people. You know how many Jewish people got help from Nazis? Look at Schindler. Schindler was a Nazi. You understand what I'm saying? There were other dudes that were Germans that actually helped some of the Jews. They're not going to always talk about it. Like, Schindler's List is the biggest one. But for us to believe in this day and age, with black people in America being such a small group, and white people having access to generational wealth, you're not going to start no revolution. That ain't gonna happen. Not with everything the way it is right now. The only way that you're gonna be able to get something and really accomplish some big things is it's not gonna be about what you know, it's gonna be about who you know. You understand what I'm saying? That plays a factor. It's gonna play both. That's gonna play a factor in it, but also, you know, what you know and who you know plays the biggest factor. You know what I'm saying? But as far as what you guys were talking about with the with California starting to become predominantly, you know, Latin or whatever, I'm gonna be honest, I don't trip about that. I don't trip about that because California used to be Mexico. So I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. Like real talk. Like, it used to be Mexico. So did I think some parts of Texas or whatever.
Yeah. Arizona, Nevada.
That's just, look, that to me, this is what's going on. And you know, you have the Latins and the Mexicans that don't want to speak English. They're making America adapt to them. See, this is the problem with us as black folks. Black folks, we're in this country and we're so busy complaining and whining about white supremacy or the premise of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting to have what I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of black people, what we want is we want white privilege. That's what we want. But we don't even realize white privilege is disappearing. We don't even realize that. So we're chasing a damn ghost instead of just being black, focusing on our culture, the culture we created in America, and doing what we do, because that's what Mexicans are doing. they're sitting back like, okay, these white folks, they messing up. And sooner or later, we're going to be able to take back our shit, which is what they doing in California. You know what I'm saying? And black folks, we just need to sit back, focus on building a family structure, building family structures, trying to create generational wealth, and we will get our turn. That's the way everything works. Everything cycles back to everybody getting a turn at the title. You feel what I'm saying? But by the time it's our turn to take it, somebody else gonna take it because we ain't even on point. You feel what I'm saying?
Let me do this now.
Well, yo, to Steve, to Steve and well, anybody else in here, to Steve, because he got, you know, kids light skin. We all gonna go to Canada with the rest of the
I know, Angryman. With the Cowboys, baby.
Steve.
There you go, baby.
Your kids can go to Canada. Your black ass is gonna go somewhere else.
Well, they can go wherever the fuck they want. I'm going to hell, I guess, if there is a hell.
Steve light enough. He can get in Canada.
I ain't like shit.
I'm gonna say,
Angryman.
no, don't let his ass in there. Because I know I ain't getting there, nigga. You going wherever I'm going. Fuck that.
I'm going with Angryman. Fuck that.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Steve, then my man Dynasty, and you know, big ARC Arc. Man, Alan Roger Curry been cooking lately, man. I'm thinking he might as well just start an Alan Roger Curry roast channel. And
who was he roasting?
Watch that. Who he's roasting?
Stick, man. Stick.
Who he's roasting?
Stick.
Tear this motherfucking ass up.
Which okay?
Which
I gotta
one?
know
Which one is he
which
not tearing his ass
podcast
up?
was that? Which podcast?
Which
was
one
that?
he
'Cause I was listening
Alan,
to one late last night.
I put you on mute, Alan, because you had a lot of noise in the background. But you can take yourself off of mute if you want. If you got just hit the button there. Just say something. Speak into the thing. Alan?
You probably can't.
Oh, because I put his page on mute.
Hello?
There you go.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't call my very last video as much of a roast as it was. Well, indirectly, yeah. It was more of what I would call a parody satire. What I was doing was exposing to my listeners that the man who remained unnamed, he's been playing what I would call a psychological chess game with me. And I think he didn't think I was aware of the game he was playing, but I was fully aware of the game he has been playing with me. And then to his credit, it's a clever game.
Oh yeah.
Which is, if I had to sum it up in a nutshell, that because of the fact that we parted ways and that didn't sit well with him, what he's been doing is it's easy to brand someone a hater and a critic when they come out and do nothing but criticize you and insult you. So if he was to come out and say, oh, Alan Roger Curry ain't shit, you know, fuck that nigga, you know, even his own listeners would say, oh, he's just hating. Yeah. But what he's done cleverly is he'll say, man, that Alan Roger Curry, his books are just fantastic. They're brilliant. Oh my God, they're such a great read. And see, what he's done is made his listeners say, God, look at him. He's praising Alan's books. Look, he treated your boy so unfairly. God, that Alan Roger Curry is an asshole. But then he strategically takes little jabs and puts invalid assessments on me.
Oh yeah.
That makes his listeners say, yep, he right. See, Alan, man, he ain't shit. Look how much he helped him promote his books, and look how Alan did him. So what I did in this most recent one is I laid that whole scenario out of the underlying motivations for why he's been doing what he's been doing. So hopefully a lot of his listeners now are going to listen to that and say, okay. All right, I get it now. Okay.
Well, see, with the thing about it, let me just briefly say this. The thing about it with that particular individual is, he is clever. He's a very intelligent brother, but he's making one of the biggest mistakes that any intelligent person can make, which is he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. Like he doesn't realize that everybody can see through that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And he clings on to it that he's the most intelligent. To me, just examining it, it shows his insecurity. The fact that it isn't the fact that he just thinks he's the most intelligent in the room. He wants to be the most intelligent in the room. You know, but
exactly.
Well, see, he should just be dumb like me and get smart friends. But let me do this. to Steve the Dean, the one and the only Ron Harper. I mean,
well, I like to go to give it to Dynas because I'm sure he wants to reply back to what I said so I can rebut.
Isn't that nice?
What did you say exactly? What did you say?
Oh, if you forgot, then never mind. Then all right.
Well, he was pretty much saying that
I was pretty much saying that you just making a bunch of excuses of using slavery like every.
No, you actually said it much worse than that.
I don't make.
I remember there was a lot of insults in that statement.
No,
but
I don't make excuses. But to sit here and try to say that slavery and Jim Crow and segregation does not impact our people as a collective today, it's just false.
That is false. Hold on, stop the show, Steve. Listen. You listen, I'm a conservative like you guys are. All right. Let's keep it real. ABL, you know me and you about 87.6% of the time. We like right there. Right? That's how me and you became cool. We was the only Negroes that was going for Trump on Black YouTube. They wanted to kill us, man. Remember last year?
Yep.
When Trump won, we was the only niggas. I'm sorry. brothers. We had a bounty on our head, dude. If we had been in like Compton, or not Compton, because there's too many niggas over there. We had been in like Southside Chicago, man, we'd be two dead brothers. But we cannot sit here, people, and act like the situation that black people are in right now. What you telling black people is like, hey, that shit happened, get over it. I mean, which is a good attitude to have, right?
Not to get over it.
To exonerate. What we're doing is the way that things
exactly.
I am saying get over it.
But
I am saying get over it too in a way. But there are still instances of that shit happening now. You cannot say that it's not like that.
Can I chime in?
Places like Ferguson, which is like 80% black. You have like 90% police force. I mean, there are things, man, out here that are fucked up. You cannot say that it's not fair. It don't exist. That's lying.
But what exists? What exists? Are you talking? Like, what do you mean? Like, what exists?
So what you're saying is there is no higher.
I'm asking the question. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying.
Order. We gotta have order. We gotta have order.
Just real quick. I ain't gonna take long. ABL, he's quick. He's easy work. Let me do this. I got him. Just nothing. Just a couple jabs. He's out of there. What you're saying? Let me ask you, ABL. I'm gonna ask you a very personal question.
All right.
What you're saying is, are you saying that there is zero systemic? Yes or no? Just make it very simple. Is there any systemic racism against black people in America right now?
No.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
So I don't
want to answer that shit. I can't. I might waste my time.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's nice. I can prove it.
No. You know you can. A dynast. I'm gonna come back to you.
We can just start with the war on drugs. I mean, come on.
No, that's a choice.
No, okay. No, listen. It's a choice, but the way that white America
Let him finish. We're gonna let everybody talk.
They responded to it when the black people were the ones that were getting high, they had the drug problem, they were treated like animals. Now, with the white opioid crisis, and we talked about this before, they're getting all types of special treatment. Freaking Donald Trump just announced made it a national emergency over the white opioid crisis. So, I mean, that's number one. Number two, in Missouri, they just rolled back laws where pretty much you cannot sue for discrimination. In Missouri.
I gotta get in.
Wait. It's order.
Hold on. We got a lot of hungry lions in here. Let's keep it cool. We're gonna let Stevie Dean. You're gonna talk. Then we're gonna go to ABL. Then we're gonna go to Alan Roger Curry. Then I know we got a whole superstar list. Only one of you can shoot the ball at the same time. At one time, okay? Calm down, killers. Calm down. Breathe. Okay, Steve, what were you gonna say?
This is I gotta say with all due respect again, but this is why our kind doesn't want to have anything to do with your kind, because I will never accept failure to accept responsibility. I can never be around someone who's always feeling helpless. I can't be around someone who wants self-pity. You guys out here are under this impression that the drug dealer walked in and said, hey, I'm going to put a gun to your kid's head. You better smoke this crack. Better take this drug. You better do that. Everything we do is a fucking choice. It's just once the shit goes down and you look in the mirror because you're so ashamed of the fucking choices you made, then you want to blame everybody. You know what? The war on drugs. Guess what? They put drugs in our community. You didn't have to smoke it. You chose to do that. You don't have to drink. You choose to do that. You don't have to do drugs. That's a choice. Everything. See, here's the thing, gentlemen. Touching a hot stove is a mistake because that's what we all do when we kids. We always make mistakes. Even like Smokey the Bear used to tell us, when you're on fire, stop, drop, and fucking roll. They tell you what to fucking do. But doing it a second time is a choice. But as Black people, we do not want to accept responsibility for the fucked up, dumbass choices we make. But it's so easy to and again, I am not for the white man. I teach mindsets. My shit don't have color to it. I'm saying we have to stop blaming. Because listen, okay, you can blame them. Is that going to give you a raise or change the price of gas or whatever the fuck you want? If you're going to blame them, all y'all are doing is using slavery as a crutch. You want to say what the white man did to us as a crutch. Why don't you pick up your big boy pants, put them motherfuckers on, accept the world for what it is and not what could be, and fucking do something about it. Do something for yourself first. Don't worry. See, y'all so busy worrying about the next man. You won't even have your house together. Y'all like the three little pigs. Y'all the two pigs that have the house made of wood and the other one made of hay. Y'all think y'all doing some shit. Y'all think y'all got y'all shit all together. Let me tell you, you don't have your stuff together because it starts with you first. And the system as a whole will not function if the subsystem parts are broken. And we are hearing nothing but broken subsystems. It will never work as long as you think the way you think. Because there's always going to be an excuse when you fail. Instead of accepting it, you're just going to use the excuse of blame and poor me and self-pity. Boo-hoo, my pee-pee hurt because Foo back in 1812 got captured by the man. And because of that in 2017, I can't watch Shark Tank. I can't grow. I can't do anything. But, it's great to make an excuse. I can just sit here and watch Love and Hip Hop. You write some rap lyrics and shit. I don't have to work. But yet, when it come time for that nerdy guy that you laughing at who's busting his ass making it, then all of a sudden look at that coon over that sellout motherfucker. Preach. Look at him trying to do work. How's he talking white and proper? He trying to act like he white. That's our problem. That's why my kind doesn't want your kind. You can do whatever you want. We'll sit on the top of our castles and the top of our hills and look down at you from Mount Olympus and just laugh because y'all will never reach that shit thinking the way you do.
Okay, let's do this. Go to ABL, then we're gonna go to Alan Roger Curry, and then back to the Angryman. So ABL, what did you want to say? Because I know you got more papers and shit.
Hey, I'm writing notes, Doc. That's what I do. But anyway, I gotta talk to my man Dinus now. You talking about drugs right now, how it's being treated. The times are different today. The situation is different today. Back in the 80s and all that, when all that was going on, the problem with the drugs was the violence. That was the key thing. We had so much violence going on in every major city in the Black community. So the situation was different. You had to deal with the violence problem because the innocent people that were not on drugs, that kind of got caught in the crossfire. That's when you had mass incarceration come in. The liberals are funny. They wanted to say, crime is down since the mid 90s. Well, what happened in the mid 90s? You had the crime bill in 1994. That's when all the crime went down because locked everybody up that was out there committing the crime. The innocent people, men, women, children, old people, that's what was going on because of the drugs, right? The physical health was a secondary issue because people were dying more from the violence than the actual drugs, overdoses and stuff like that. But now it's not like that. Now people are dying because of the actual drugs. They're becoming addicted and not able to be productive. So the violent element is not there. And also the drugs are legal drugs. People are getting hooked on oxycodone, Xanax, Percocet, etc. They're being overprescribed by their doctors. There's a lot of medical malpractice going on. So the situation is different. It's not about Black versus white. And on top of that, Black folks are also suffering from the opioid crisis, believe it or not. Look at what's going on in rap music. You guys talking about Molly Percocet. What's that right there? Lean, stuff like that. Pimp C died from probably an overdose of lean or from sleep apnea because of the lean he was drinking. Lean is an opiate derivative. So we got a problem with that as well. It just so happens to be that white folks are more affected, but it's also affecting us. And then we'll move on to Missouri. Missouri, all they did was just update their law to be in line with the national law 38 other states and the federal government also have their law. Now, when you said that the law made it harder for them to discriminate or file a lawsuit in discrimination cases, well, all they did was just change one thing. Rather than discrimination being one factor of a reason why somebody may have been terminated or any kind of wrongful action, it must be the determining reason, not a reason. So prime example, I might go into a place and say, you know what, I got fired because I was late every day and I'm black. So I'm gonna sue them for being discriminated against because I'm black, even though the main reason is because I was late every day. But now they got to say, you got to be able to prove that the main reason why you got fired is because of your status, whether it be gender, race, or whatever. And the local NAACP in St. Louis told the national chapter of the NAACP to rescind their travel bans. I know you saw that, where the NAACP had put out a travel ban to Missouri talking about it's not safe, this, that, and the third. St. Louis said, hey, y'all need to rescind that because this law you're talking about is in effect in 38 other states and also the federal government. And if you want to have a travel ban on us, apply it to all the other states and the federal government itself. So that's what's going on there. The media, the victimhood media, is trying to poison all of us with all this dangerous rhetoric to make us go out there and be upset, be angry, go out there, riot, protest for no real reason.
Okay, let me do this. Let me get to Alan Roger Chris. Get some great points. Like I said, you guys are much smarter than me. Like I said, I'm a dumb motherfucker. I hang out with a lot of smart people. Angryman, Steve the Dean. Thank you guys for your brain cells. Let's go to Alan Roger Chris. You get some good points, man. Like I said, it's a lot of strong points today. I'm like, okay. Alan Roger Chris, what's your take, man, on what Dynast is saying and what ABL is saying?
Well, you know, I got biased with Dynast because he's my frat brother. And I didn't appreciate Steve saying all them bitches in that conversation about Colin Kaepernick. He must have said about 2,500 bitches in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Steve is a firecracker, man.
But no, I'm sorry. I would have to disagree that so ABL, you said you can prove that systemic racism has been completely removed from society.
Yes, as far as it relates to being against blacks, yes.
Okay,
there is racism out there.
Minutes, please explain it to me.
Okay, there is racism systemic, but it's not against blacks. Because systemic racism, that's relating to things that are on the books that say that because you're black, you cannot do this. But there are no such laws. Now, there are laws on the books talking about affirmative action that affect Asians in a negative way when they get penalized because of their SAT score. That right there is institutional racism. But we have no such thing on the books as it relates to things that keep us back from advancing in any kind of way in society. There was at one point, we're talking about Jim Crow, there were laws in the books that said you cannot go here, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. But those laws no longer exist.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, in other words, black people have every opportunity to improve their lives.
I mean, everybody's different. You know, I can't say everybody has the opportunity because you're talking about children. It depends on what kind of household they're raised in. If your parents are on drugs or something like that, you're going to have less opportunity than somebody who has two parents that are doing right. So you can't just say, well, everybody that's black has all the opportunity, nor can you say the same thing about any other race. But when you're talking about legal restrictions, there are none. So it's all about the people that you're being raised by, your own individual ability to be able to succeed.
All right, ABL, real question. So you're trying to tell me that in order for something to be systemic, that it has to be on the books?
That's the definition of it, isn't it?
Wait. Hold on. That's the definition of it. Hold on a second, because I want to do this. Definition of systemic racism. Hold on a second. I want to see this. Let's see.
My bad.
What is systemic? No. It's supposed to be on the books, right? Okay, let's look at this here. Institutional racism is a form of racism expressed in the practice of social and political institutions. Institutional racism is also racism by individuals of informal social groups governed by behavioral norms that support racist thinking and foment active racism. It is reflected in disparities regarding wealth, income, criminal justice.
Y'all have the terms.
I think I just read it.
Wrong.
I think I just read it. Hold on.
No, that's institutional.
ABL.
That's institutional. Systemic and institutional. That's two different things.
Is it?
How? We got to break that down. How?
I think that.
Yeah, I think that is. Because what we're dealing with, like if systemic racism, if systemic is on the books, institutional doesn't necessarily mean on the books.
Systemic racism is both a theoretical concept, but as a theory, it is premised on research-supported claim. Okay, so if it is, then right, because we got to understand this. Then what would you be judging, then, Angry Man? Then you would be judging wealth, income, those who are locked up, employment. You cannot go back. Systemic means everywhere, right? So you're judging all aspects of social life. If that is the case, then that means black people should be as equal as whites in wealth, income, criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, political power, and education.
Okay,
we'll see that.
Angry Man, let me just say something real quick.
Am I wrong? Am I done?
Let's just deal with real estate. You have a black community, all middle class, upper class. Okay, they ain't killing each other. They ain't selling dope. They ain't selling crack on the street corner. They work the same jobs as the white community, middle class, upper class. Why, for some reason, are the real estate values lower in the black community than the white community? And then I don't care what socioeconomic background this white person comes from. The minute some white people move into this black community, they could be hippies. Why do the values all of a sudden go up?
Now that's institutional racism.
Wait, okay, well, what is, okay, how can you defer or decipher rather between what is institutional and what is systemic? Because systemic and
I'm reading. Hold on, Oshay, I got you on that. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Institution and a system are the same thing. How are they different? They're not.
You said it's the, hold on, let me look up the definition.
An institution and a system.
It's the same. So that's why
it's about law.
It's interchangeable definitions here. Well, hold on. Alan Roger Curry, you're very good at words. I know you're a writer. I'm dumb. I know you're a writer. I'm just a medical student. What do I know? Is institution and systemic, are they not similar?
Oh, they're very, at least as far as I know. I mean, somebody would have to correct me, but I've always looked at those as close to being interchangeable as possible.
You know,
I mean, they might have
I'm just ugly nigga. I'm just ugly. I'm not that smart. I don't know. I'm just a funny, ugly motherfucker. Maybe, I don't know. Somebody let me know. Am I wrong?
Well, see, here's the thing. This is where the problem comes in. This is where the problem comes in. It's semantics. This is where the problem is coming in. The problem is systemic has always been associated with law, like the Jim Crow laws that they actually set out, like a white person can't go to this water fountain or this restaurant. It's Correct. Always been associated with that. Now, as far as the definition, the straight definition, you're right. The definition is very similar to institutional. But what I'm trying to say is, and I think I've pointed this out a couple of times, there's two types of racism in this world. Okay. I don't really use the word systemic nowadays. I use the word institutional because you could have let's say for argument's sake that you have a business, you have a bank. Okay. The person who owns that bank, the bank may have specific practices that are on the surface. Anybody can look up what those practices are. But because of the fact that the owner of the bank is a member of the Ku Klux Klan, he has racism that he's using against black people who come into that bank. Now, they may have on the record, okay, this is our practices, this, that, and the third. But he may have pulled aside his employees and said, look, don't you get these niggas no loan. That's what I'm talking about when I say institutional racism.
Okay, well, let me ask this question then, Angry Man. Since we'll take your actual definition. So I'm gonna go back to Anthony Brian Logan. Is there institutional racism in America towards blacks?
Nah, same thing. Institutional.
Stop the show.
You know what? Here's where the problem is. Here's where the problem is.
He got his paper.
If you can show me the law, then I'm wrong. But if you can't,
here's where the problem is.
But somebody read the definition. Here's the thing, because he can't get out of this one. Definitely can't get out of this one. ABN, I might not be a bright dude every day of the week, but on Sundays I get lucky. You know, I used to be a preacher in my old life. I was a pastor of Saint Slap a Bitch Missionary Baptist Church. So today you fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up today. Okay. Institutional racism is, how do you define it? Somebody tell me. Read this to me.
To me,
no, we want to be fair because ABL likes to deal in what is the truth. So it is reflected in disparities regarding wealth, income, criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, political power, and education. So now that we got that straight,
you say it's reflected, but what does that got to do with actual? You say it's reflected. That means that you're able to measure it. But what does that got to do with the actual thing that's on the books that says this, and this? You saying like it's like you're measuring
books. Reflected means you can look at. I mean, you're a smart guy, brother.
Reflected means you can measure it, but you got to be able to have something that is created to measure. It's just like, you know, you gotta have height to measure somebody.
Steve the D.
It's simple. It's not that hard.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this?
But see, look, here's what you know what a problem.
Can I talk?
Yeah, let me talk. Go ahead.
You got to be able to measure. Like you're talking about, it can be reflected in X, Y, and Z. That is a measurement, but you got to have something to be able to measure. So what are we measuring?
Well, okay, can we not? Let me ask you this, Anthony Barlow. So in a sample size, I understand you understand statistics very well. You can have a certain population size of whites, which they take the U.S. Census every year. They do that all the time. You can take whites and you can take blacks, and then you can measure it within populations of money, of income. You can even, as far as percentages of whites who are in the political spectrums of certain educational things, and blacks. So they do this all the time. The United States loves crunching numbers. So we are one of the most, we're a first world country. Obviously, these are things that we do. So we can measure blacks against whites and even the same income levels. So what I'm saying is, if there is no racism, then even though blacks are 13% of the population, then whatever population we see compared to whites, we should see 50% of blacks doing the same thing that 50% of whites are doing, regardless of population. And what I'm saying is, based on the data, we don't see that. We see that blacks do not have the same thing that whites do based on percentages. Even if whites are outnumbered, I'm talking about the whites that we have and the blacks that we have. If we measure them, blacks are losing in every form.
But you can't measure it by that.
How can you not? Anybody take a statistics class?
You know why you can't? You know why you can't measure it by that?
Of course you
can. Because you can't, because there's too many different variables.
Yes.
Such as
look, I'm not disagreeing with you, Oshay. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not even disagreeing with Anthony Brian Logan to a degree. But this is the genius behind racism.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This is the genius behind racism. The genius behind racism is they realize that racism can no longer be overt. You understand?
Right.
The Klan member, he has to change. He had to trade in his sheet and his mask for a suit. You can't be overt with your racism, because then it can be pointed out, it can be attacked. Like one of the reasons that Jewish people are so successful when it comes to dealing with the Nazis is they had a figurehead. They had one person that they could point at and say, that is the enemy. That's who we need to look out for, which was Adolf Hitler. Black people don't have that. We don't have a individual where we can just point out and say, he's the one that started racism. You see, and the genius behind racism is after Jim Crow, they took the racist laws off of the books and they converted the racism into favoritism. Okay. So right now, this is why we have the issue that we have going on, where you have white people coming out and saying, this is messed up. Why can't I be proud to be white? Why can't I help other white people? Why does that have to be pointed out as racism? See, they've taken the coin and turned it. And now racism is under the guise of white favoritism. So whenever you start looking at the numbers and crunching the numbers and saying, oh, you know, I can tell from these numbers that black people don't have this because of racism. Then somebody white can come along and say, well, no, they don't have this because look at that particular group. That group has this percentage of crime in that area. Or these families are low-income families. Or these families have single mothers. Or racism can hide behind statistics. So that's why I said you can't use statistics, unfortunately. That's the genius behind racism.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
You see what I'm saying? Here's the reason why. Okay. Because at the end of the day, if we're talking about opportunity and we're talking about institutional racism, and that's what we're saying, because I asked him a direct question. Is there institutional racism in America? He says, no. I'm not dealing with the idea of all these other things of what you can hide behind this and that. I'm not talking about that. And it's a great point. It's a great theory, but it's not the question that I asked Anthony Brian Logan, which is institutional racism there. And institutional racism is based off of certain factors. I didn't make the definition up. That's what it's based off of. So if you say that this is the definition, which it is, and it's based off of certain parameters. Let me read that to you again: wealth, income, criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, political.
That's not what it's based on. That's what it's measured by. It's two different things.
Okay, so if it's not measured and based, what is the difference? Come on, let's word play.
Look, I'm not going to get a straight answer out of him for that question. I promise you.
Measured are based. Okay, so I'm sorry. We'll use measured. Don't you use? It's better for you.
It's different words. The words matter. You can't just say whatever.
Good. I'm glad you said that. Measured. You tell me that if we are measuring this, and in these numbers, blacks are terribly low, then what you're telling me is you don't like your enumerate. You don't like numbers. Because clearly, all data would show black people versus white people in statistics are suffering from institutional racism based off of the measurements. Isn't that right?
Nah, because you're still saying you're still using.
No.
Listen, can I answer? Can I answer?
Come on, dude. Come on. We're talking about measurements. You know what that means, don't you?
You're asking me a question. I want to answer.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now you're still trying to say based because you in your mind. Can I talk? Can I talk? You're still in your mind. You're thinking that the words mean the same thing. Am I right or wrong? Right or wrong?
No, I actually said I was wrong. Remember?
No. I'm asking you. Do you still think that the word measure and based mean the same thing?
It's not the same thing. That is why I said measure. All right. I'm gonna take away. I'm gonna let you hang yourself. So I'm not even gonna let you go there. I'm wrong. Measurements. I'm sorry. Let's stick with that.
Okay. Now, when you measure something by something, that does not mean that is the core basis of it. It does not mean anything. All that means is that if it exists, then these are things that you're able to see that come as a result of it. But that does not mean that those things caused this or were caused by it. It just means that you can just look at it and say, okay, I see this, and this, so that must mean this. But that does not mean that that's just the reason for it.
Okay.
What I asked you was, is institutional? Go. Let me finish to make this thing. I'm not asking you that, Anthony Brown Logan. What you're saying is trying to justify the numbers. I'm not asking you that. What I asked you was, does institutional racism exist? You said no. I said based off of these. I'm sorry. Not.
That's what I'm saying. You're thinking that way.
Right? So I can say that. That's not wrong. Off of these measurements that it is defined by, right? So then you're trying to excuse the numbers. That's not what institutional racism says. It is off of those measurements. And if you want to know what measure means, I want to ascertain the size, amount of degree by using instrument or device marked in standard units. That is what measurement means. So please, I want just go ahead and call yourself out of this one. Come on.
I mean, I've already proven my point because you're still thinking that these is based on these. What's what you're thinking? That's why you said it.
I said measurements though. No. I said measurements wrong. Deal with the word measurement. Don't run.
We kind of talking in circles because
y'all are gonna go in circles about this.
We're talking in circles because the thing is, you still are thinking what you thought from the beginning. You're just trying to use different words to react.
Look. Hold on, let me say something. Let me be the mediator real quick.
He trying to run.
Can I say something quick? After you, can I go next?
Yeah.
Can I go next?
You go let Steve go, and then you can go.
You gotta look. You gotta realize y'all are gonna go in circles about this, and the reason why you're gonna go in circles about this is because that shit is by design. That is not, I'm gonna show you where that shit exists at. That shit exists. You ever have your mom or somebody getting on your nerves, like constantly calling you, just getting on your nerves, your mom just blowing your phone up. And then finally you answer it. You was busy that day. You finally answer it and you say, God, Mom, what is it? What do you want? Oh, nothing. You know what? I just won't bother you no more. And then she hang up the phone. And then you feel like an asshole because you're sitting there looking at it like, wait a minute, I wasn't wrong. But she's using it's subjective. What you guys are talking about, it exists in that little gray realm that's subjective. Y'all are gonna go around in circles forever about this because ABL is coming at it from the standpoint of pure 100% fact.
Yes.
Meaning what law is on the book that is a racist law towards black people? That's where he's coming from. Okay. And I get that. But at the same time, you guys are saying, come on, fam. I know you see the institutional racism that exists, which I do agree with. It does exist, but it is a subjective thing. If you're dealing with like
it's not
ABL is coming at it like the Terminator, like a pure android. Like, where's the numbers, motherfucker? That's what.
I'm talking about the numbers. I'm talking about measurements. ABL keeps trying to hide measurements. Talk about based in measurement. He's scared to talk about the measurements.
Nah, what I said is right. People in the chat agree with me.
Come on. You got some people. I mean, come on. All the people. What is the percentage of people in the chat right now that agree with you, ABL? That would be, and if you tell me a percentage, that's a measurement. I want you to know that now.
Come on. We gotta move on.
Can I be heard?
You want to move on? Okay.
All I'm saying is,
I'll leave you.
So basically,
you,
man, in order for something to be institutionalized, to be considered systemic racism, institutionalized racism. Let me ask this question, ABL: do you think racism? Forget the wordplay. Do you think racism exists?
Sure. Yes.
Towards black people.
Yes.
So we just can't put the adjective in front of it, institutionalized or systematic.
I mean, it matters. Like, I'm a man, right? But if I put homosexual man in front of that, that's wrong, ain't it?
I told y'all, look, you are gonna go in circles forever. Like, okay, I'm gonna explain. Some people didn't get what I was trying to say about the mom calling you. I'm gonna explain what that means. If your mom did that to you, and then you said, all right, Mom, I know what you're doing. You're trying to be funny. You're going to go to the extreme and say, well, I'm just not going to call anymore. She's going to turn around and say, I don't know what you're talking about. You got upset, so I'm not going to call no more. Don't that make sense? It's going to go around and around. Ask him another question. Watch.
No, I'm done. I think I said what I had to say. Me and Alan Ryder Curry, I think we both understand the English language pretty good.
But see, you know what, Oshay?
Clear.
Let me say this. You know what, Oshay? Let me say this. Let's say, for argument's sake, I had the ability to erase the thought or the concept of racism from white people. Let's just say I had a wish. I made the wish. Tomorrow, no white people were racist. Okay. All right. What would happen is we're tribal. All of us are tribal by nature. When white people start doing stuff specifically for the betterment of their tribe, their respective tribe, we're still going to view it as racism because of the history of what has happened in this country. Mm-hmm. So the problem is racism can be nowadays because it's not on the books, because there isn't any specific laws. It's subjective. Somebody can say, well, I'm not being racist. I'm just looking out for my own kind.
That's not what we're talking about, though. What we're talking about is there disparities regarding wealth, income, criminal system, unemployment, housing, healthcare, political, and education. I mean,
exactly.
Is anybody not listening to that? Maybe I don't know.
Yes, I hear that, but you know what?
Then if you hear that,
I hear that, but listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. If I really wanted to, let's say I wanted to play devil's advocate, and you were going to say, okay, well, these numbers show racism. I could go get every last one of those statistics, and I could make a case with those statistics that it's not racism. You know how I could do that? I could do that by
the thing about it is the definition is not if you can make a case about it or not. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is what is the definition of it and what are the parameters. And based off of those parameters, that's what I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with a but. I'm dealing with because the definition doesn't say this, but I can deal with. No, it doesn't say that. What it says is based off of wealth,
what numbers?
Income,
okay, so now
you my man.
Don't be mad. I mean, I'm just saying.
Hold on. Now I'm about to jump on ABL side. So what specific numbers? So what specific numbers show racism?
Can I
I want to see the word racism and the percentage beside it.
That's the definition, man. I didn't make the definition up. If you want to be mad at me, be mad at Webster, motherfucker. How you gonna jump on this side off of definition? I didn't write this shit. I told you I'm not that smart. I didn't make this shit up.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, look at him. Okay, we got two different things. Okay, we got two different things going on. We all know that in America.
Look at him. He nasty.
We all know that in America. We have words
right over, Daddy,
that have a specific definition, but a lot of times we put our own definition of those words.
So okay, that's cool. You can do that, but that's not what the definition is. Alan Roger Curry, let me ask you this. Alan, he's been nice. Steve, I know you're ready to fight somebody. We're going to continue. Alan. Is Alan Roger Curry in there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Alan Roger Curry, you are an author.
Yes.
Best-selling author. So you're very, 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 very good at the English language, as so is Angryman, because he's in his own right a writer too. When you deal with certain definitions, are we dealing with the definition in itself of any word, or how you feel about it? When we deal with definitions, what do we deal with when we talk about words?
Oh, it can be both easily. It can be both. I mean, because as we all know, the definition of a bitch is a female dog. So if we want to be pedantic, then we would point the finger at anybody who uses the word bitch and say, I don't see any canines around here. Exactly. I don't see any canines around here. But how do we feel about that word? We feel about that word. We have connotations of a disrespectful woman, a loudmouth woman. Exactly. Hard to get along with woman is a bitch. But technically, pedantically, that's not a bitch.
Exactly. Because it becomes to be honest, it becomes ingrained in the culture. And the thing about it is in America, we have a specific culture. And the thing about it is our culture is comprised of multiple things. There's no American language. There's the English language. You understand? So we have
just real quick. The definition of a bitch is a female dog, but as Merriam-Webster has updated the definition, a lewd or immoral woman, a malicious, spiteful, overbearing woman. So what you just said, Alan Roger Curry, is actually a technical definition of the word bitch. I'm sorry. Continue.
So that makes some words subjective.
Yeah, but what you're talking about is not subjective. What you're talking about is not what institutional. You're putting the Angryman spin on that, which is a good argument, but that is not in the Merriam-Webster definition what you're talking about. That's what my argument is.
Neither was a woman
from what the definition is.
And neither was a woman being a bitch.
It is now.
Until they updated it.
Well, when did they update it? I don't know when they updated it. I could just look at it right now. I wasn't there. Like I said, I'm not that smart. I just saw it just now that it's updated. But your definition has not been updated yet.
No, right? It hasn't. So
okay, good.
Who decides who updates the definition? Man, fuck Webster. Webster. Like, yo, it's based on like we live in a culture that has linguistics.
Okay, you win.
And
man.
the moment that it becomes commonplace for a certain word to mean something, that's what it means, regardless of whether Webster decides to agree or not.
Hey, y'all got a super chat, Angry Man 500. That was the best line of this whole discussion. Fuck Webster.
Hey, but let me ask you this. Let me interject. So, if institutionalized racism.
Hold on a second. House Figs, this guy,
If
Oshay, who admits that he is
racism-
not smart, and I agree. There's always somebody in the chat that's
fucked up.
I mean, no, I'm gonna let you stay in the chat, dude. I'm not gonna let you. I'm gonna let you stay in the chat. I know you're being rude and facetious, but
and this is
I should kick you out of the chat, but I'm gonna let you stay. Go ahead.
and this is directed towards ABL. If institutionalized racism isn't, you can't measure it. Why are non-whites, and we'll just be specific, blacks, affected by it more than white people?
I mean, how are we affected by it? How are we affected by it? Like affected by what? What specifically? Because you're using a broad term.
Come on, what do you mean? What specifically? I'll give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example.
Okay.
Let me give me 1 minute. Fifth Third Bank to pay $18 million settlement for charging black customers more interest for auto loans. Let me get to this part in the story. Even when African American and Latino borrowers negotiated the interest rate, they end up paying more for the cars than white borrowers with similar credit profiles because of the car dealer interest rate markup. What I mean, and there's documented.
Okay, I can explain that one. That's the easy one to talk about, because that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. That goes back to earlier about the discrimination laws in Missouri, where they updated it to say that you have to have the determining factor in the discrimination lawsuit be your status as, heterosexual, homosexual, straight, black, white, whatever. You got to have that be the dominating factor, because the thing about it, let's look at the other factors that may have played into them not getting the certain kind of interest rate they wanted. What about their credit? What about their collateral? Why is that not mentioned in the article that you've read?
They mentioned credit. I just mentioned credit.
They had better credit. They had better credit than white people.
No, it said that let me read it again.
Okay.
Even when African American and Latino borrowers negotiate the interest rate, they end up paying more for their cars than white borrowers with similar credit profiles because of the car dealer interest rate.
Similar credit profiles. What does that mean? Does it mean the same, or does it mean better? What does that mean? Because the thing about it, because you can take an average and say, okay, well, like, you got to get the full picture. Let's look at everybody that was discriminated against and look at what the actual credit profile was. Look at the collateral. Look at everything that was going on with the whole situation. Look at the employment situation. Look at the job. How much money did they make at their job? Because you can have a similar credit score, but you can have a job making $20,000 a year versus $80,000 a year. Let's look at all the variables. See, that's just law.
Well, no. Let me.
Hold on. I got to finish right quick.
Go ahead.
Because that's just lawyers playing the law. There's laws in the books that you can manipulate to your advantage if you decide to do so. So how do we know is that case or the other case of it being legitimate discrimination institutional wise?
Okay, let me just say this real quick. Similar does not mean being the same, right? But let's say, for example, I'm trying to get a bank at loan at the Angry Allen Roger Curry Bank of Doodleology, right? I come in with a 710 credit score. And Anthony Brian Logan, who was white, comes in with a 719 credit score.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your credit score is higher than me, right?
Yes.
But it falls under the same parameters of getting it's similar, but we should get the same rate, because typically how credit works, I'm going to log onto myfreecreditreport.com. Because freecreditreport.com will tell you credit ranges and what you should get within that range. Even if you have a higher score, but if you fall within the same category, it should be the same, even if you're not the same exact score. That would mean a similar score.
When I went to go get a car, you got to apply for a loan or whatever. Unless you ball out of control like Oshay over there with all that super chat money.
I'm too busy tricking on these hoes.
But nah,
I can't stop. Please.
If you're gonna buy a car, you need to go and try to get it financed. Okay, so when you go there, they're gonna say, Where do you work? How much money do you make? How long you been there? All that kind of stuff like that. And on top of that, your credit history and your credit rating.
Yes.
Your history and your rating are two different things, because they're going to look at everything in the rating, in the history itself. They're going to print it out. They're going to go through it. And then your rating in conjunction with your history and your current employment. So to say that the rating is the only determining factor is not true.
No, that is true. That is also true. That is also true. That's also true. I won't give you that. But Oshay, assume though, because the article. Who wrote this article? Dynas.
It's on Atlanta Black Star.
Atlanta Black Star, which is also on the left.
Yes.
Shit.
Oh, the Atlanta Black Star.
I hate liberal blacks. But okay, listen. Let's look at it from this point. Let me let Steve weigh in, because Steve been waiting 30,000 hours. Before we go to Steve real quick, right? Let's do this. We have 10 million people. I know a lot of Anthony Brian Logan fans in here, because whenever he wears his red polo shirt, all the people come out. I don't know why, but I
love it, man.
You guys never see black men get together like this and be on a very, very touchy topic like this, and ain't nobody ready to fight. I know this is new for y'all. Ain't nobody got the guns out yet, but let's do this. Let's like the video. Okay, is Jay Miller still on here in BGS? Let's everybody come in here and like the video. Okay, I really appreciate it if you would do that. If you are just watching this channel, I know some of you have called me dumb in the chat. Your mother likes it. I'll let you know that. Really, she does, because I'm so dumb that you're watching me and others. So let's do it. Yeah, ABL got all this, man. He didn't put well, come over here and help me against Oshay and these niggas. All right, like the video, you guys. Okay. We need 311 people. This probably has been the best stream I've ever been on ever. I've been on a lot of good ones. This is the best one. So keep the likes coming up. I really appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, you should subscribe, because if you want to hear more of Angryman coming over here talking about fuck Webster, you will only get it on this channel.
Yeah, right. Fuck Webster. Fuck King James.
He said, man, fuck Webster.
The only authors I respect is Robert Greene and Alan Roger Curry.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, little bro.
No problem, bro.
I don't like Alan Roger Curry too, because he make my website value go up every time he write. I be like, yes, yes. Y'all know this money y'all giving me is going right to Alan, man. I told Alan Roger Curry, I said, man, I said, Steve the Dean came over and saved my ass one night. Steve, man, got me about $400 in the donations, man, in the super chat one day. I turned right around and gave that money right to Alan Roger Curry. I was mad.
Now, Oshay, I'm sure you saw my segment where I simultaneously complimented you and roasted you in my video.
Oh, you did?
Because see, Oshay think he's slick, but I actually gave you credit. I say you're a smart businessman, but this is what Oshay has done. He'll have me write articles for his site, and he'll act like it's a chore for him to pay me. Say, man, I got to pay Alan Roger Curry. But then 2 days after I write the article, I'll hear him in the morning. Yes, this is Oshay with discussion topic about Alan Roger Curry's article he wrote on Monday. And then you just see donation $5, donation $20, donation $50. And I'm sitting there like, that's my motherfucking article he talking about. But he cleaning up. They might like, oh, I enjoy this discussion, Oshay. I'm about to donate $75 to you.
Oh my god!
All right, listen.
Ruthless capitalism.
Listen, I told you, man. I'm not that bright, but I have smart friends. Okay, listen. Let me get to Steve. Man. Steve. I know you've been waiting 32 years.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, 13 and a half years, man. But
come on back, brother. Glad to have you back.
You know, all this, I mean, again, y'all are like Angryman was saying, y'all were going all in circles and stuff. And what y'all don't understand is y'all got to wake up to the fact that the news and TV and newspapers and the internet got y'all motherfuckers on lock. They know how to push your buttons and push you wherever they want you to go. And yet y'all are the biggest joke of it all. Y'all the head. You know, I always tell people to watch House of Cards, because it's a show that laughs at people about how ignorant and stupid they are. All they got to do, the presidential debate. We don't vote people over their politics. It's just whoever can throw the most mud at the next person, but that's how they are. They know how to push your buttons. Only thing I want to say real quick is for all the people in the chat room, first to get the likes up, because you shouldn't have to ask to do that. But unfortunately, this is my point of why we ain't doing shit for each other, because we got to ask you to do shit that you should be doing on your own. But for those who do put the likes up, I always tell all my clients, you follow 3 laws. Follow 3 laws. Law of the land, meaning don't kill anybody because you'll go to jail. Law of law of the street. Now, not all the time, but don't cross a red light. You won't get a ticket. The law of your job. Do your job and go the fuck home. Outside of that, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Now, there will always be a white man or a white person that's not going to like you. There's going to be an Asian one. There's even going to be black people that don't like you. But the thing is what are you going to do about it? See, none of us, not us. We are, some of us. Hey, some of us a solution on this motherfucker, but we're doing something about it because we're changing the narrative by trying to show you that even though in this day and age, where slavery happened centuries ago, that we are able to create our own wealth. We are able, using the internet, be able to create businesses. You don't have to go to a bank anymore to get a loan. You can go on the internet and create a business. You have access to everybody in the world now. So how can you use racism or slavery as an excuse when you have access? Now, do you have a talent? That might be the question you need to ask. Some of you motherfuckers ain't talented. Some of you motherfuckers ain't business orientated. So some of you motherfuckers ain't gonna get. Hey, always, this is the last thing I want to say, and this might hurt. We need more Indians than chiefs. That's how it works. That's how the game works. And then what y'all got to understand is we need more consumers out there than people like us, because we need those kind of people to buy our stuff. And if everybody thought like us, the economy would crash. Bottom line. That's all I want to say.
Listen, man, I got 440 people in here watching. I really appreciate you. Look, one thing, I know I'm dark skinned, right? I ain't trying to roast myself, but I don't have AC in this motherfucker. So, I'm really struggling with this heat, and I've got chocolate milk coming off my skin right now. This is some bullshit. So we're gonna have to wrap this motherfucker up in a few minutes. But I do want to say that man, I've always wanted to be around a group of intelligent black men. I mean, obviously, I've never been around y'all in person, because where I'm from, niggas would have been fighting after our argument like me, a topic like this. But you guys are very bright. Like I said, I have some of the brightest friends that I've met. I've not met you guys personally, but I cannot say not enough great things about you. We don't see things eye to eye, but that makes it a great podcast. The brother that was on here, Ronald, he came and really turned this motherfucker up. 80 left. And I just can't say enough about you guys, man. For those people who are in the chat, I just want to let you guys know the book is done. How to Stop Simping in 24 Hours. I couldn't afford Alan Roger Curry on the ebook. It would have been $1,000 per word. So right now,
here you go.
Alan Roger Curry will have your ass homeless.
Here you go.
And living in an apartment in Philadelphia, 48 years old, stalking his channel. I don't want to have that on my life. So I'm gonna just go ahead on and wait until I get my money up and stuff. But I want everybody to let you guys know that you guys, when you support this channel, we're really building the Negro Manosphere fan page. So what I want to do is we're going to be sharing articles. If you want to follow our fan page on the Negro Manosphere, I will ask you. We have like 1 million people in here right now. Do me a favor, click the Facebook link in the chat. I'm spamming it right now. Follow us on facebook.com/Negro Manosphere. I think Angryman will be streaming on there on the channel as he's on OBS, as well as Steve the Dean. They'll be doing shows on there. We got a lot of cute girls over there, right? So I have a Facebook group, and there are a lot of cute chicks over there that we're posting that's not on YouTube, man. I've been bringing them over here. Shout out to Kevin Samuels also. So you guys support us over on facebook.com/Negro Manosphere. And then also for those people who want to get on the mailing list, if you want to get the ebook, How to Stop Simping in 24 Hours, drop your email in the chat. I will get that to you. It will come out next week. But let me go ahead and get everybody Chill with the link. Stop the show. Who the fuck is Blue Vortex Z? Hey, bitch, this is my goddamn channel. How the fuck are you gonna tell me to chill with the links, nigga? I will come to your fucking channel and post these motherfuckers, motherfucker. Don't play with me, bitch. What the fuck you talking about, nigga? I do what the fuck I want to do. You shut your punk ass up there and you like those links, motherfucker. Talking about chill, nigga. Shit, you got your goddamn. Let me get my Alan Roger Curry, motherfucker. Let me hold on, do my goddamn. I gotta do my shit right. Do my water.
See, here we go. Here we go.
Don't you ever fuck with me? I'm Alan Roger motherfucking Curry. You fat bitch. Why the fuck you promote my book for two? You on my fucking dick. You on my dick. You are my bitch. I'm your Huckleberry bitch. Motherfucking Alan Roger Curry, take your fucking shades off when you fucking talk to me. I can see your fucking eyes. For the rest of my opinion, I'm sorry that y'all had to hear that.
Yo.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
See how y'all treat me?
This is some good shit over here. This is that doo-doo water. They ought to give me a deal for this shit.
Yo, they should. They really should, man.
Did I do pretty good, Steve, on my Alan Roger Curry?
Yeah, you needed. Why don't you do it with a Harlem Shake? Why don't you do that holding a bottle?
I don't have a stroke. It's too hot in here. I can't do that. No. Everybody shop. Listen, ABL, man. ABL got some chicks on the side, man. Because you really be checking your phone, man. You got some pussy coming over.
Hey, man, I just be busy, man.
You on my channel, you can say whatever the fuck you want over here. You know. You can really be over here. It's okay to be a nigga. It is, really. Trust me.
Hey, I'm just busy. That's all.
Over here. You
go ABL. You busy.
At least 10 kids.
You busy.
I know you. Hey, when I come out there, don't worry. Hey, don't worry about nothing, niggas. I know we gonna get some bitches. Okay. I won't record you.
ABL is a beast with his brand on the low. I've been peeping at this.
I bet you need to fuck some of these goddamn. They got all that conservative pussy.
O'Shea will be tried. He be like, yo, ABL, you be over there.
I know he be getting all that ass, man.
ABL be like, yeah, come on. I'm just saying.
I'll be right over there after I get through talking about racism. I'm gonna run my black dick through your white puss. Bitches for slaves, bitch. ABL, bitch. ABL, motherfucker.
Oh my God!
All right, I'm sorry, dude. For everybody that's that's why ABL can never bring me over to his channel because of shit like this. That's why y'all always come over here like, dude, if I bring you into my channel, you gonna fuck around and say some shit. That's why I can't go nowhere with your ass. But anyway, okay, let me do this. Let me let everybody shout themselves out. Okay, I'm gonna start with my man Alan Roger Curry. Appreciate you, big bro. More like a play uncle, something like that. You know what I mean? Niggas that be at the barbecue and shit with the Coogee sweater on, but got on the lugs, boots and shit, making hella chicken. But I'm just saying. Like, what can they find you at, Alan? Besides,
Well, first of all, in my opinion, you would tease me about my tirade in my recent video, but my little bro Angry, he trumped that with just 2 fucking words. Fuck Webster.
Hey, that was the end of the argument with that one, man. I was trying to be philosophical. Man, fuck Webster.
I mean, it's one thing you say, fuck the Oxford Dictionary, but when you go at Webster, man, that's like you got balls and shit.
I like you argue with somebody about the Bible, they just snatch the scripture up. Man, fuck this scripture, nigga. Damn, I'm about to order the Bible. Fuck John tomorrow. Ain't that a bitch?
But as always, people can find me at my main website, directapproachdating.com, directapproachdating.com. Women and couples can find me at mo1.net/training. And you can also find me on Wikipedia. And I'm also here on YouTube as author Alan Roger Curry. And my last note, listeners, if you're naive and susceptible Do not believe O'Shea's financial struggles when it comes to paying me my salary. Do not believe it. Because every article I write, 2 days later, he gets on here. Yes, this is O'Shea. Going to discuss this beautifully written article by Alan Roger Curry. Then you just say, donate, 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 donate. But then I enjoyed all the panelists, as always, some new I had met before, some, the old crew, and it was a great and powerful and provocative discussion. I appreciate you guys allowing me to join in.
Yeah, man. And ABL is the devil's advocate of these things, dude. Like, you always know Anthony Brian Logan is going to say, does this exist? No. And everybody be like, what? And then it starts, I got to bring the other dude on again, man. The other dude with ABL and Steve the Dean, that is a fucking fire waiting to happen.
That was funny.
Yeah. I got to bring some more liberals. You know what's funny? I had a chick that was on here, man. I did an interview. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see this Angryman? I did an interview with a white chick that only likes black. I think ABL saw it. You saw that interview?
I was in there for a little while. I saw that.
No, did you see that, Dynast?
No, I didn't see it. I haven't saw it yet.
Dude, people are so mad about that video. This is a white girl that only dates black men, and she's hella ghetto.
I'm gonna tell you what, though. I'm gonna tell you what. I know her social media, whatever, is blowing up right now. It's on fire. All the people trying to highlight her. Guarantee you.
Dude, I'm about to bring her back. For real, because she ghetto as hell, and I had to hold back. Like, I was like, "Hey, bitch, what the fuck?" But I just couldn't say that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be cool. But y'all gotta check that video out, man. It's called it's you gotta watch it too, Alan, if you get a chance. Since I'm about to watch your 32-hour great podcast. This one is called "The Mistreatment I Get for Only Dating Black Men." So Ashley Tillman, and I got another one. My baby daddy is a deadbeat. Those two interviews are getting a lot of fucking comments right now. I can't believe I can't believe they came on and actually said this shit. They said on TV, on fucking camera. But anyways, let me go to the next person. That will be ABL, the one and only.
All right. Hey, thank y'all for having me. It's been good as always. Shout out to the panelists. Shout out to the chat. Even the haters. It's all good. I love y'all too. But anyway. you can find me everywhere. Everything is Anthony Brian Logan. You can look on the screen before you can see my logo on my website. That is anthonyblogan.com. It is right there on the screen. You can also find me on YouTube, of course. That's where I want you to go. Subscribe to that. It's just youtube.com/alog. That is youtube.com/ALOGE. Facebook is facebook.com/1776 Logan. And Twitter is twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan. Again, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN, and that's it.
Shout out to ABL. ABL is like winning a lot of fans from here. I'm like, this nigga trying to turn my fan base against me. He's like, yeah, well, you see the chat. They don't agree with it. I'm like, man, fuck the chat. Like, with Angryman, man, fuck Webster. Fuck the chat. They don't like it. Goddamn. All right. But shout out to ABL, man. Powerful brother. My man, Dynast. I like having Dynast on Sundays too. Man, actually, Dynast is the reason why I started doing the Sunday shit. But I was just doing it a little bit earlier today. Me and Steve were just doing it earlier today. We thought it was going to be like a 45-minute show, and that was it. And we were going to try to come back with 2 podcasts today, which was the baby mama drama. But we're trying to get 2 done, but it ended up with more than one. But shout out to Dynast, because he's the reason why not only I started the Sunday joints, and he's the reason why I went to Africa in the first place. And like I said, Dynast is doing a great work. You guys got to go check him out, man. Search for Uhuru channel. There's nobody on Black YouTube doing what Dynast is doing, man. There's nobody, not one person. The brother is for real, and he is doing a powerful work. He's the reason why I got my yellow fever card, went to Africa. He's the reason why I'm going back. He's the reason why people are now knowing about the Angryman and Alan Roger Curry and Lagos State, because we've been promoting there on Facebook ads, trying to get the brothers out there to Nigeria, to West Africa. So all of that, man, I'm getting from Dynast, man. I got a lot of love for him, made for my city. He's just doing a great, incredible job, man. He's been interviewing. Let's see, you had an interview with a brother from Ghana today, right?
Yeah. Brother from well, he's back and forth between America and Ghana, but he does a lot of investments in Ghana. And traveling as far as taking people on tours to Ghana. But his thing is he's really one of the people that actually he's been able to merge like not only the tourist part as far as getting to Ghana, but also once people get there, setting them up with investments in certain industries that that are profitable. So he's mixed that business aspect along with the tourism for Ghana. So yeah, I had him on today.
Wow. I mean, you're just doing a good job, man. And I really appreciate you for what you're doing, man. I got to get those brothers on here. Also, as a big panel, you did an interview with a brother in Namibia, a brother in Kenya, in Windhoek, Namibia, Nairobi, Kenya. This brother from Ivory Coast, and then 2 brothers from Ghana. So shout out to you. Where can everybody find your work at, man? Because you're doing some powerful work, man. And so people need to check you out. Where can we find you at?
Search for Huru, my screen name, Huru, all one word, and that's on every social media platform: YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Search for Huru.
Okay. And like I said, Dynast, we got it, man. Me and Dynast, whenever I go to Dynast chat, I go in there, I be tricking, man. When I see him on, I always donate because Dynast is going to blow up, man. Dynast is doing some powerful shit and niggas are playing, and Dynast is hopping on to something, man, that we all need to be hopping on, which is that the Africa movement. We're trying to get our stuff out there. So I've been telling Steve the Dean about Nigeria and stuff, and he ain't really, he kind of coming around to it. I got to work with Steve, because Steve is one of them people, man. You got to really kind of convince him. But nonetheless, man, my big brother, Angryman, I made him curse today. So when we want to shout him out, man, we want to thank him, man, because he's the reason why a lot of brothers. He had the idea. A lot of brothers came together. I just ran with it and start implementing it, man. So I really want to thank him for what you see here is mostly his idea as far as brothers really working together and coming together. So where can they find you at, playa?
Yo, y'all can Google me, Google the Angryman Channel. All my stuff come up. You can @ me on all social media at Angryman Channel. Catch me on YouTube or catch me up here. You know where to find me. Y'all see it on the screen. Got my little shit up there.
Tomorrow we gonna do the Angryman. I actually gotta do some. I gotta send you some money. Because I need my Jerry curl shit fixed in the back with the Jerry curl show. No, I'm serious. I need that in my life. I gotta have it. I need to send this money to you so I can get my shit together. Because it's time for me to get my Jerry curl juice together and have this show. Have Alan Roger Curry on there. We're gonna host. We're gonna take over the fucking world with this shit. It's gonna be Jerry curl juice everywhere. We're gonna baptize niggas in Jerry curl juice baptism pools. It's gonna be taking the movement worldwide. So shout out to the Angryman. And I'm serious, man. I gotta get my Photoshop together, man, for the OBS. And last but definitely not least, probably the most controversial motherfucker on this goddamn podcast, Steve. Every this nigga says something racist about black people. I think what's going on here. You niggas, man. I'm gonna tell you something about you fucking monkeys. I
didn't call everybody a monkey, man. I love it.
Call everybody a monkey, but you said I couldn't say you was wrong, but I was sitting there like I'm sitting here like, shit. I should end the podcast right now. I just said, you can't say that, nigga.
All right. Well, hey, first off, I want to say thank you, Oshay, for allowing us to be on this great platform. Also, I just want to say to the panel, the ones that we always knock heads and we don't have to agree on everything, but I would always love to take you guys out for a beer out of respect of you being men and standing by your own principles. I can respect that. We might not disagree, but as long as you stand by your principles, I got to respect that. The only thing I want to say is y'all can check me out at themanmindset.com. Also on YouTube, just go to stevesyoutube.com. See how simplified I made that shit? stevesyoutube.com. We'll bring it to my YouTube channel. And last but not least, I just want to say outside of these guys, the motherfucking chat room, you motherfuckers, we got nothing but love for you. And I just want to say a few things to the chat room. Number one, please start to do something. Start getting your shit together today. Cut your friends out that are negative. Cut your family out that are negative. Start watching Shark Tank, please, guys. It's absolutely free information. And the last thing, the reason I say all that to all you guys and end it like this, everyone, I'm asking you to do one thing. You love me or hate me, do this one thing. Just look at the graveyard. Take a photo, think about the graveyard, or drive by the graveyard. And the reason I say that is because everybody in there have one thing in common. They always thought they had tomorrow coming to them, and they don't. And we don't have tomorrow coming to us. So I'm just saying for you guys in the chat room, love me or hate me, want to kill me or fucking lynch me, or throw me up in the tree and call me a monkey, whatever you want to do. I'm just saying that, please, guys, you don't have tomorrow guaranteed, but just live your life and grow as men. And there are women there as women too. And Angryman, you know I'm gonna call you after this over with. Got business talk.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, Angryman, I need to send you some of this money too, dude, because I got to get my Jerry Girl stuff together, bro. I'm over here. I'm tired of y'all roasting me because Minister Jack roasted me the other day about my shit. I ain't got my graphics up. I'm out here struggling. I got a struggle YouTube channel, and I'm tired of this shit, man. I need to go big time, bro, because I'm over here ready to cry and everything. And I don't want to. I'm gonna start crying like the other boy over there. Roger Curry don't want to fuck with me no more, man.
His name is Stick, man. His name is Stick.
Wait, let me get my shit up. Hold on a second before we go. I gotta do a cry, right? Can I do it? So I got the water. Can I do the cry?
Are you holding the stick
up? Curry left. I gotta do the cry.
Are you holding the stick?
You ready?
All right, Reginald. All right, Reginald Brown.
Okay, I'm done. I do that shit. All right, I'm getting up. You streaming tonight?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I gotta get up with Kevin. Me and Kevin are supposed to do something. So
Kevin. I was supposed to, man, he supposed to call me back, man. I guess it was being mean to a dark motherfucker today or something. He ain't called me back. Okay. All right, man. Look, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm out of here, y'all. Love you guys. I'll be over Angryman Channel chicken a little bit later. Peace out. It was a great show. God damn, I got all this water in my eyes and shit. I can't see nothing. Fuck. I gotta go, man. Peace.
Peace.